So there I was, skydiving like a normal person, when somehow I yeeted myself straight into 1985 and landed in the body of a woman with my exact same name.
Cool. Cool, cool, cool.
Love that for me. Let me catch you up on this mess I inherited. The original Shu Yuan was 21, an orphan who'd been wandering the streets her whole life. One day, she saved a soldier named Zhou Cheng from bleeding out during a mission. Instead of just saying, thanks, she basically said, marry me or I saved you for nothing. Romantic, right? So they got married, and she moved to the military base thinking life was finally good.
Wrong.
Zhou Cheng's childhood sweetheart, Bai Wei, showed up crying about being kidnapped by traffickers and having nowhere to go. So my genius husband took her in for a whole year. And in that entire year, Zhou Cheng never once touched his actual wife. I cannot make this up. The original Shu Yuan was such a doormat that she literally volunteered to share her husband and became a personal maid for both of them. Meanwhile, Bai Wei was scheming 24/7 to replace her. Classic White Lotus behavior. Today, Bai Wei deliberately wore the outfit from My Wedding to provoke me. The original Shu Yuan got mad, pushed her, and somehow died by hitting a wall. And that's when I showed up. First thing I hear? Zhou Cheng lecturing me about being mean to precious little Bai Wei because she only borrowed one outfit and because I put too much chili in the food for her sensitive stomach. Oh hell no. Shut your mouth, I said, rolling up my sleeves. Then I slapped Bai Wei across the face. Then I slapped Zhou Cheng across the face. The sound was so crisp you could hear it echo. Everyone froze like someone hit the pause button. Zhou Cheng, I said, Bai Wei could have worn any of my clothes, but she specifically chose my wedding outfit. She's practically waving a flag that says, I want your spot. And about the food? If her stomach is so delicate, she's got 2 hands, she can cook for herself. I'm your wife, not the nanny you hired for your little girlfriend. Bai Wei, being the professional manipulator she is, turned on the waterworks and whispered to Zhou Cheng, don't fight with Shu Yuan because of me. What if she gets so angry she divorces you? This girl really thought she was being slick. She was literally trying to get us divorced while pretending to be worried about it. Genius level evil, honestly. Almost respect it. Zhou Cheng took the bait like a fish with no brain cells. Fine. Let's divorce. I've had enough of your cruelty and sharp tongue for a whole year. I looked at Bai Wei's smug little face and thought, you want him? Take him. Trash belongs with trash. Zhou Cheng, you think you've had enough? I've been suffering for a year. You want a divorce?
Great.
Let's do it right now. Whoever backs out is a dog. Zhou Cheng, EXE stopped working for a second. The woman who used to obey his every word was suddenly breathing fire. He figured this must be my true self all along, which made him hate me even more. Fine by me, buddy.
Good.
We're divorcing, he said. Then he had the audacity to tell Bai Wei, sit down, sweetie, let's eat. Oh, you want to eat MY cooking? With her? At MY table. I walked over and flipped every single dish onto the floor. Rice, vegetables, everything crash. I'd rather feed this to dogs than let you 2 eat it. Zhou Cheng looked like his brain short-circuited. Now come with me to the commander's office to file for divorce, I said, and walked out without looking back. I headed straight to Commander Lu Xiao's house. From the original's memories, I knew he was young, decorated with military honors, and currently recovering at home after a mission left him blind and unable to walk. The original Shu Yuan was terrified of him.
Me?
I heard he was handsome. And I fear no handsome man. When I arrived, I overheard him on the phone telling his mom he didn't need a caretaker. His voice was all commanding and intimidating. Then he heard my footsteps. Apparently going blind turned his ears into satellite dishes. Who's there? I walked in and looked around. The place was basically empty. They'd cleared out all the furniture, so he wouldn't bump into things.
Commander Lu, I'm Shu Yuan.
I'm here because I want to divorce Zhou Cheng, and I need your approval. He was surprised. He'd heard about the whole love triangle drama, and he figured someone would eventually tap out. He just didn't expect it to be me. Approved. Zhou Cheng arrived just in time to hear his commander greenlight our divorce at lightning speed. His jaw practically hit the floor. Have Zhou Cheng fill out the divorce paperwork and bring it to me to sign. Lu Xiao added. Thank you, Commander, I said, genuinely thrilled. I walked out and ran right into Zhou Cheng. I didn't even slow down. Good news, hubby, ex-hubby. Commander approved the divorce. Go fill out the forms. We're hitting the civil affairs office today. Zhou Cheng tried one last power move. Shu Yuan, you're an orphan. If you divorce me, you'll be back on the streets. Are you sure about this? I didn't even blink. I am sure, certain, and absolutely positive I want to divorce you. As for whether I'd end up homeless, that was none of his business. Because I already had a plan. After Zhou Cheng and I officially divorced, I went back to the military housing to grab my stuff. It was already dark outside. I packed everything under Zhou Cheng's watchful gaze and walked out without looking back. He actually had the nerve to call after me. Shu Yuan, I'll allow you to leave tomorrow morning. I rolled my eyes so hard I nearly saw my own brain. No thanks. I can't stand being in the same room as you and Bai Wei for one more second. You two make me physically ill. Zhou Cheng, speechless. Bai Wei, also speechless. She probably thought SHE was the one who should be disgusted. Girl, please. So where did I go? Straight downstairs to Commander Lu Xiao's place. Look, I was freshly divorced and completely broke. I needed startup money to put my brilliant 22nd century brain to work. And the person who could fund me? Lu Xiao. I'd overheard him earlier refusing a caretaker. Well, guess what, buddy? I happen to have medical training from the future. Taking care of one blind guy with bad legs? Child's play. But honestly, the caretaker gig was secondary. I mainly needed a roof over my head. I wasn't about to end up begging on the streets like the original Shu Yuan would have. When I walked in, Lu Xiao was sitting in his wheelchair, quietly eating dinner. And when I got a good look at that chiseled, stupidly handsome face of his, even after seeing plenty of attractive men in my life, I literally had to swallow my own drool. The man wasn't just good-looking. He had this natural commanding presence that made you pay attention even when he wasn't saying a word. Like a human magnet, but make it military. Knock, knock, knock. I politely tapped on his door before dragging my luggage over to him. Who's there? He was immediately on guard. Commander Lu. It's me again, Shu Yuan, I said with my most charming awkward laugh. So, funny story, I'm divorced now. Homeless. And I happen to hear you need a caretaker, so here I am, volunteering as tribute. I learned acupuncture and medical stuff from some healers back when I was wandering around. I'm not hospital level, but I'm more than qualified to take care of you.
So,
Can I stay? Please, I don't need a caretaker, he said flatly. My world collapsed. If this man didn't take me in, I'd literally be sleeping on the streets tonight.
no.
I refused to be homeless. I sat down next to him, grabbed his arm, and went full begging mode. Commander Lu, I'm an orphan. If you don't let me stay, I'll be living in a ditch. Please keep me. I'll cook, clean, do laundry, and I'll treat your eyes and legs with acupuncture.
Plus, I'm cheap.
Just give me food, a place to sleep, and 10 yuan a month. He didn't react. Not even a twitch. I panicked and started bargaining against myself. 8 yuan? 5.3. Something must have shifted in his head because he put down his chopsticks and said, I don't like being touched. I don't like being disturbed. If you want to stay, keep absolutely quiet. Wait, was that a yes? I let go of his arm like it was on fire and practically vibrated with joy. Commander Lu, I promise I'll be silent as a ghost. Won't bother your work. Won't bother your sleep. And I will fix your eyes and legs, I swear. He clearly didn't believe me about the medical stuff. His own doctors had already given up. But he reached into his bag and handed me 20 yuan. Buy yourself some food and supplies tomorrow. 20 yuan. This man just doubled my requested salary on day one. For generosity like that, I was going to cure him even if it killed me. After I tucked the money away, my stomach let out the loudest, most embarrassing growl known to mankind. Lu Xiao heard it. Of course he did. The man had bat-level hearing now and said, If you don't mind eating my leftovers, help yourself. Mind? Mind? I was about to eat air for dinner. Don't mind at all. I grabbed clean chopsticks from the kitchen and we ate together. Well, he'd already eaten. I inhaled what was left. After dinner, I set up his bath water and stood guard outside while he washed up. Getting bored, I started fiddling with my hands, and that's when I noticed it, a faint ring on my finger. The spirit spring ring. It came with me through time. I pressed the tiny switch on it and whoosh, fragrant spiritual spring water came gushing out. I took a sip. Same magical taste as always. Here's the deal with this ring. It can heal literally anything and purify the body, making you stronger. I'd bought it at a 22nd century auction just because it was pretty, then discovered it was basically a cheat code for life. I'd never taken it off since. With this ring, getting rich is going to be a joke, I whispered, kissing it happily. Then bang. A crash from the bathroom. I dropped everything, threw open the door, and found Lu Xiao on the floor with his pants halfway on, looking like a fallen action figure. Commander Lu, are you okay? I'm fine, he said, sitting on the wet floor with an expression that screamed, please let the earth swallow me whole. He tried to refuse my help, but the man literally couldn't stand up on his own. So he had no choice but to let me haul him back into his wheelchair and roll him to his room. Under the dim yellow light, I could see the full picture of his situation. His pants were soaked, his shirt was dirty, and this proud military commander looked completely defeated.
I didn't laugh.
Not even a little. I just went to his wardrobe, pulled out clean clothes, and started helping him change. The dim light cast our shadows on the wall, overlapping again and again as I moved around him. My breath kept accidentally hitting his ear as I leaned in to help with his shirt, and wait, was his neck turning red? Were his ears flushing? The lighting was too terrible for me to notice, which was probably a mercy for both of us. Okay, shirt's done. Now I'm going to change your pants. Don't worry, Commander. I'm closing my eyes.
No peeking.
Scout's honor. I squeezed my eyes shut, peeled off his wet pants, and then... So there I was, trying to pull Lu Xiao's pants up from his ankles with my eyes squeezed shut like some kind of blindfolded contestant on the world's most inappropriate game show. I got the pants up to his knees and thought, okay, I need to lift him to pull these the rest of the way up. So I tried to hoist him and immediately lost my balance. My whole body lurched forward like a falling tree, and my hand shot out to catch myself on the bed. Did it land on the bed?
No.
It landed square on Lu Xiao's bare chest. My face turned the color of a tomato. Sorry, Commander. My eyes were closed. I couldn't see. I touched the wrong thing. I yanked my hand back, which was a terrible idea because that hand was the only thing keeping me upright. Without it, I toppled forward, and my lips landed directly on his. My brain blew a fuse. My first kiss.
Gone. Just like that.
Stolen by gravity and bad coordination. Though I have to admit, his lips were pretty nice. I barely finished that thought before Lu Xiao shoved me aside, his face looking like a thundercloud. Get out. I scrambled to my feet, stammering like a broken radio. Commander Lu, I swear I wasn't trying to take advantage of you. It was an accident. Total accident. Please don't be mad. I'm going to my room now. Call me if you need anything. Bye. I vanished faster than a magic trick. Meanwhile, Lu Xiao lay on his bed, his face turning completely red, replaying that accidental kiss on an infinite loop in his head. Yeah, awkward for both of us. The next morning, I got up early and went to the cafeteria to buy breakfast for me and Lu Xiao. The second I stepped out of his house, the military wives started gossiping like it was their Olympic sport. Why is Shu Yuan coming out of the commander's house this early? I heard she divorced Zhou Chun yesterday. She divorced him and went straight to the commander's place? Did she dump Zhou Chun for the commander? Does that mean Zhou Chun got? You know, if the commander hears us, our husbands are dead. They scattered like startled pigeons. I ignored every single one of them. I had zero time for the neighborhood gossip committee. I grabbed breakfast, came home, got Lu Xiao's toothbrush and towel ready, and called out, Commander Lu, washing up time. He wheeled himself out of his room to the bathroom. I stood next to him and happened to glance at the mirror. Lu Xiao flinched. What are you screaming about? Why do I look like this? My hair was like a bird's nest that birds had abandoned for being too messy. It hung over my eyes like curtains, which explained why everything had seemed weirdly dark since I arrived. I literally couldn't see through my own hair. My face was yellow and bony, classic long-term malnutrition chic. And upon closer inspection, covered in brown spots, though they blended in with the overall yellowness, so well you could barely tell. Silver lining, I guess? But when I really studied the bone structure underneath all that mess, high nose bridge, full lips, perfect oval face shape, the features were actually quite delicate. The original Shu Yuan wasn't ugly. She was just so malnourished. She looked like a scarecrow's less attractive cousin. No problem. I could fix skinny with food, fix the yellow skin and spots with my spirit spring water, and fix the hair with scissors. Renovation project, me. After his morning routine, Lu Xiao finally asked, "So, what do you look like?" I cupped my own face dramatically. "Ugly beautiful," he opened his mouth. Closed it. Opened it again. Gave up. Was I calling myself ugly or pretty? The man genuinely could not tell. To be fair, he tried to remember what I looked like from before, but all he could recall was that I always hid behind my hair with my head down. The only thing he remembered for sure was that I was extremely thin. He said nothing and wheeled himself to the table. I laid out breakfast. "Commander Lu, today we've got eggs, steamed buns, pickled vegetables, and rice porridge. I know it's not fancy, but bear with me this morning. Once I go shopping, I'll make you something actually good." He didn't seem to care. As long as it was edible, he was fine. He ate quietly while I snuck glances at his face. Honestly, that face was like a painting you could stare at forever and never get bored. After breakfast, I poured him a glass of spirit spring water and left it within reach. "Commander Lu, here's some water.
Drink it if you're thirsty."
I'm heading out now." What he didn't know was that water was going to start healing him from the inside. Sneaky?
Yes.
Effective? Absolutely. I made sure everything was set up and headed out. That's when Bai Wei spotted me from the upstairs window. She rubbed her eyes. Rubbed them again. Then her eyeballs nearly popped out of her skull. I could practically hear her brain short-circuiting. Didn't Shu Yuan leave the housing compound last night? Why is she still here? She chased me down and blocked my path. "Shu Yuan? It's really you? Why are you still in the military housing?" She was clearly panicking, trying to figure out if I'd crawled back to Zhoucheng or what. I didn't even look at her. I just said one word. Scram. "Shu Yuan, what kind of attitude is that?" I smiled sweetly. "It's my attitude toward trashy people." "What, you don't like it? Then maybe stop being trash." Her jaw dropped. Her face turned purple. My mouth had apparently been dipped in poison overnight, and she was not prepared. "Shu Yuan, you." The bus pulled up right on cue. I hopped on, leaving Bai Wei standing there clenching her fists like a cartoon villain. She couldn't understand how the doormat who used to call her best sister had turned into a flamethrower the moment the divorce papers were signed. As the bus drove away, Bai Wei marched straight to the guard post. "Shu Yuan is divorced from Zhoucheng now. According to the rules, she has no right to live in military housing anymore. When she comes back, don't let her in. This snake, scheming behind my back while I was out grocery shopping." Classic Bai Wei. Meanwhile, blissfully unaware of the ambush being set up for me, I hit the traditional medicine shop first, picked up herbs and acupuncture needles. Then the market for meat, vegetables, flour, rice, cooking oil, and every seasoning I could find. Lu Xiao's 20 yuan?
Gone. Poof.
Half on medical supplies, half on food. Every last cent spent in one glorious shopping spree. He could absolutely never find out I blew through his money this fast. He'd think hiring me was like adopting a financial black hole and kick me out immediately. I took the bus back to the compound around noon, sweating and huffing under bags of groceries, and walked up to the gate. The guards blocked me. The guards were blocking me.
Me.
Standing there in the blazing sun with approximately 9,000 bags of groceries. "Why can't I go in?" I asked, setting everything down before my arms fell off. "Miss Shu, the military housing rules say outsiders can't enter." "Outsider?" My eye twitched. "I am not an outsider. I'm your commander's hired caretaker. If you don't believe me, go ask Lu Xiao yourself. The guard, Xiao Jiang, knew me as Zhou Cheng's wife, so the whole commander's caretaker thing clearly short-circuited his brain. But I wasn't lying, and he could tell, so he ran inside to check with Lu Xiao. Meanwhile, I stood outside getting absolutely roasted by the sun like a rotisserie chicken. That's when Zhou Cheng came back from training. He spotted me with all my bags and strutted over with the confidence of a man whose brain had been replaced with a motivational poster of himself.
Shu Yuan.
Didn't you march out of here, all proud yesterday? What happened? Did you suddenly realize you're nothing without me? Did you come back to beg for forgiveness with all these groceries? I stared at him. The audacity of this man. I was melting in the sun, so I tried a practical approach. Just open the gate and let me in. I'll explain inside. He actually scoffed. From his high horse. Shu Yuan, after how you humiliated me yesterday, you think buying a few things will earn my forgiveness?
Dream on.
But I will accept the gifts. I'm sorry, what? This man was like a toad sitting on your foot. Completely useless, but somehow still disgusting. Zhou Cheng, where do you even find the nerve? I divorced you because you were the one playing house with your little sweetheart. I hit you and cursed you out because you deserved it. That's not humiliation. That's justice. And these groceries?
They're not for you.
They're for Commander Lu. In case you haven't heard, I'm Commander Lu's caretaker now. I still live in military housing, but I live in his house. Not yours. Never yours again. Zhou Cheng's face went through about 17 emotions in 2 seconds. Commander Lu likes quiet. He hates being disturbed. There's no way he'd hire you. Believe what you want. Right on cue, Xiao Jiang came jogging back and opened the gate for me. Miss Shu, I confirmed with the commander. You are indeed his caretaker. Please come in. Zhou Cheng's jaw hit the floor so hard it probably left a crater. I grabbed my bags and walked past him. He reached out and grabbed my arm, squeezing hard. Shu Yuan, what kind of game are you playing? I stomped on his foot. Hard. He yelped and let go, hopping around in circles like a wounded flamingo. Touch me with your dirty hands again, and next time it won't just be a stomp. I'll report you to the police for harassing a respectable woman, he sputtered.
He fumed.
He couldn't form words. I looked at him hopping around pathetically and thought, you know what? One stomp wasn't enough. So I stomped on him again before walking away. Zhou Cheng's face twisted in agony. But did he learn a lesson? Of course not. His takeaway was, she's clearly hurting me on purpose to get my attention. She wants me to notice her. This man's delusion had its own gravitational field. I rushed into Lu Xiao's kitchen with all the bags. Sorry, Commander Lu? Zhou Cheng held me up outside. You must be starving. I'll have food ready soon. Lu Xiao heard the words, held up by Zhou Cheng, and his expression flickered with something. But he said nothing and went back to reading his Braille documents. To save time, I decided to make a one-pot rice dish, meat, potatoes, and carrots diced up, quick stir-fry, then mixed with rice and spirit spring water, sneaking healing magic into his food like a nutritional ninja.
Cover, steam, done.
Within minutes, the smell drifting out of the kitchen was absolutely heavenly. I could hear Lu Xiao's stomach growling from the living room. His stomach was literally calling to me. I popped my head out. Commander Lu, hungry? The rice needs a bit more time. Want me to make you some sugar water to hold you over? No need. He went back to his Braille materials, his fingers moving across the pages with quiet focus. Something about the image made my mouth move before my brain could stop it. So handsome, I whispered. Lu Xiao froze. What's handsome, you? He started coughing. His ear tips went red again.
Go. Kitchen.
Cook. Yes, sir. I snuck one more look at him before leaving and added, Commander Lu, you're truly a feast for the eyes. Then I skipped into the kitchen humming a little tune. The man was shook. This was the same woman who used to be too scared to even look at him, who couldn't say a single word in his presence. Now she was openly flirting? He probably thought the divorce broke something in my brain. Nah, buddy. The divorce fixed everything. Meanwhile, upstairs in Zhou Cheng's apartment, a very different scene was unfolding. Bai Wei was gently applying medicine to Zhou Cheng's bruised foot, blowing on it like He was a toddler with a boo-boo. Oh, Acheng, how could Shu Yuan stomp so hard? Look at this bruise. It hurts my heart just seeing it. Zhou Cheng, who had clearly graduated top of his class from Delusional University, launched into his analysis. She's doing all this to get my attention. Bai Wei blinked. What do you mean? Think about it. Before, she was obedient, and I never gave her a second glance. But yesterday, after she hit us both, I looked at her multiple times. She figured out that being aggressive makes me notice her, so now she keeps finding ways to provoke me. She even became the commander's caretaker just to stay close to me. Her entire plan is to make me fall in love with her and remarry her. Bai Wei stared at him. Even SHE, professional manipulator, champion gaslighter, thought this was a stretch. Acheng, are you sure she hit me to get your attention? Because it didn't really feel like that, but Zhou Chen was already riding his delusion train to Fantasyland, so he patted her hand reassuringly. Don't worry, Wei Wei. No matter what tricks Shu Yuan pulls, I will never remarry her. Bai Wei relaxed. And somewhere downstairs, completely unaware that my ex-husband had built an entire fictional romance in his head where I was desperately trying to win him back, I was happily cooking rice and sneaking magical water into a handsome commander's diet. Life was good. Meanwhile, upstairs, Bai Wei was plotting. She'd managed to kick me out of Zhou Cheng's life, and she was not about to let me hang around the compound living at Lu Xiao's place. In her mind, she could get me thrown out of there just as easily. Oh, sweet delusional Bai Wei. You have no idea who you're dealing with now. Downstairs, I scooped the steaming one-pot rice into a bowl and handed it to Lu Xiao. Commander Lu, food's ready. Try it. He picked up his spoon, and just as he was about to take a bite, I grabbed his hand. Wait, it just came off the stove. It's hot. Let me blow on it. I leaned in and blew on his spoonful of rice. His entire body went stiff like someone had poured starch into his veins. I can blow on it myself, he said, his voice slightly strangled. Sure thing. Blow away. I sat back and started eating my own portion. It had been forever since I'd had this kind of one-pot rice, and honestly, I outdid myself. Delicious. Lu Xiao apparently agreed, because he inhaled his first bowl and then asked, Is there more? I beamed. Plenty. Let me get you another. I refilled his bowl and handed it back. He ate spoonful after spoonful while I sat there shamelessly staring at his face from the side. Commander Lu, has anyone ever told you that your side profile is really attractive? He choked. Again. The man was going to develop a permanent coughing condition around me. He turned toward me, ears going pink. You're the first. Because nobody else has the nerve to flirt with me this brazenly. Flirt? Who's flirting? I'm just stating facts. But then I thought, you know what? Let me show him what actual flirting looks like. I put my bowl down, leaned in close, and gently pushed him back against the sofa. Our faces were inches apart. I could feel his breath on my skin, and his on mine. His Adam's apple bobbed. He couldn't see a thing, which made it even more intense for him. Total darkness, a woman suddenly in his face, nowhere to retreat. Shu Yuan, what are you doing? I traced my fingers lightly across his face, leaned in close to his ear, and whispered, Commander Lu, this is what flirting looks like. What I said earlier, that was just a compliment. I paused, studying him up close. Although, now that I'm this close, you're even more handsome. Heart-stoppingly handsome. And your lips. I ran my finger across his lower lip. They're so soft. And they look so tempting. I bet they taste sweet. Lu Xiao's face went full tomato. He shoved me to the side and said in his most serious military commander voice, Shu Yuan, if you flirt with me one more time, you're fired. I deflated instantly.
Commander Lu, I'm sorry.
I won't do it again. I promise. I absolutely could not promise this. My problem is that when I see a handsome man, my hands and mouth operate independently from my brain. And Lu Xiao was the most gorgeous man I'd ever encountered, across 2 centuries. Could you really blame me? I picked up my bowl and ate the rest of my meal in angelic silence. After lunch, I washed the dishes, scrubbed the bathroom, and did Lu Xiao's laundry. The rhythmic sound of me hand-washing clothes seemed to actually relax him. I think he'd been living alone for so long that having another human around doing domestic things was oddly comforting. He'd expected to hate it. Turns out he didn't mind at all. Maybe having someone around wasn't so bad after all. By 3 in the afternoon, I'd cleaned every corner of the house. Lu Xiao was still on the sofa reading his Braille documents. I marched over and snatched them right out of his hands. Commander Lu, you've been working for hours. Time for a nap. I don't. Before he could finish refusing, I'd already hauled him into his wheelchair, rolled him to the bedroom, and physically pushed him onto the bed. I'm your caretaker. I know what's best. Close your eyes. Rest them. Sleep. Now. Lu Xiao had never napped in his life. But apparently my brand of aggressive caregiving was impossible to resist because he actually closed his eyes and dozed off. While he slept, I got to work in the kitchen, but not on food. I was brewing medicine. See, here's what the doctors got wrong about Lu Xiao's blindness.
His corneas were fine.
The problem was a blood clot in his brain pressing on his optic nerve. The clot was in a dangerous spot, too risky for surgery, so the doctors basically told him, sorry, nothing we can do, but I could do plenty. A blood clot? Please. I had 22nd century medical knowledge. I could dissolve that thing with the right herbal formula. Easy. His legs were a different issue, his tendons had been severed. The surgeons here had tried to reconnect them multiple times, but the equipment was too primitive. After repeated failed surgeries, his body needed rest before they could try again. That's why he was living in military housing instead of a hospital. I brewed the herbs, poured the dark bitter liquid into a bowl, and waited for it to cool. When Lu Xiao woke up, I brought it straight to him. Commander Lu, I made medicine for your eyes. Drink up. He was immediately suspicious. Shu Yuan, all medicine has side effects. You're not a doctor. You can't just randomly feed me drugs. Okay, technically I wasn't a doctor in 1985. But in the 22nd century, I was literally known as the divine physician, youngest doctoral graduate in medical history. My prescriptions could bring people back from the edge of death. But I couldn't exactly explain that, so instead I said, I may not have formal training, but my master was one of the greatest medical minds alive. His skills were legendary, and he taught me everything. So trust me, this won't kill you. Just drink it. He stared at me, stared in my general direction with an expression that said, absolutely not. Fine. Plan B. I took a big gulp of the medicine myself. Then I grabbed the back of Lu Xiao's head, pressed my lips against his, and transferred the medicine directly into his mouth. His pupils dilated so hard they probably registered on a seismograph. The bitter taste exploded across his tongue. He shoved me back, face flushed, voice cracking. Shu Yuan, how can you, as a woman, be this forward? I cleared my throat and put on my most innocent expression. Commander Lu, that wasn't me being forward. That was me proving the medicine isn't poisoned.
See?
I drank it too. If it's toxic, we die together. Now, would you like to drink the rest yourself, or should I keep feeding it to you? Mouth to mouth, he opened his mouth to say something. Too slow. I swooped in and fed him another mouthful. Our lips met again, and this time I could feel his heart absolutely pounding through his chest. Was it anger? Embarrassment?
Or
something else? I honestly couldn't tell. But I can tell you his ears were so red they could have guided ships through fog. Lu Xiao swallowed the medicine and immediately said, give me the bowl. I'll drink the rest myself, smart man. He learned fast. I held the bowl to his lips and let him finish it off. Commander Lu, this medicine is called clot dissolver. It breaks down the blood clot in your brain. Drink it for 1 week straight and your eyesight should come back. He was skeptical. 1 week? If it doesn't work, stop feeding me random medicines. I raised an eyebrow. Time to negotiate. But if it works, you'll let me treat your legs too? Deal. Pleasure doing business with you, Commander. I took the empty bowl, reached into my bag, and popped a candy into his mouth.
There.
Now it's not bitter anymore. He paused mid-chew. Why do you carry candy around? To bribe you into drinking your medicine, obviously. I am not a toddler. I know. You're 29 years old, the youngest commander in the military, and still unmarried. Which, by the way, you're this good-looking and you don't have a wife. Do you have some kind of Secret medical condition? Because I can treat that too, you know. He nearly choked on the candy. I do not have any conditions that need treating. My mouth fired before my brain could intervene. Then why aren't you married? Were you waiting for me? Dead silence. Shu Yuan, you. I slapped my hand over my own mouth. 22nd century habits die hard. I'd spent years trash-talking and flirting my way through life, and now my mouth just operated on autopilot. We were not at the waiting for me stage of this relationship. We were at the please don't fire me stage. I awkwardly changed the subject at warp speed. Anyway, Commander Lu, it's getting late. How about boiled pork slices for dinner?
Great, great.
I'll go cook. I fled to the kitchen before he could respond. Behind me, I heard the soft sound of Lu Xiao unbuttoning the top 2 buttons of his shirt to cool down. He'd probably convinced himself I was traumatized by my divorce. That was the only explanation his brain could produce for why a woman would say such things to him. Sure, Commander. Let's go with that. For dinner, I made boiled pork slices and served them at the coffee table. Since Lu Xiao couldn't see, I kept picking up pieces of meat with my chopsticks and placing them in his bowl. Try this. How's the flavor? He chewed slowly. The pork was silky and tender, coated in rich, fragrant sauce. I could see the surprise register on his face, again. My cooking kept catching him off guard. Have you worked as a chef before? Nope. I just really love eating, so I've done a lot of research on food. If you like my cooking, I'll make you something delicious every single day. Every day. He didn't respond to that. Just kept eating quietly while I kept piling meat into his bowl. The scene was, objectively, very cozy. That's when Zhou Cheng walked past the open door. The smell of my cooking hit him first. Rich, meaty, intoxicating. He peeked inside and saw me tenderly feeding Lu Xiao, the 2 of us sitting together in warm domestic bliss. Something flickered across his face. Annoyance? Jealousy? Indigestion? He was probably thinking, Shu Yuan is stupid and ugly and bad at everything. How is she suddenly taking such good care of someone? I spotted him lurking in the doorway, stood up, walked over calmly, and slammed the door shut in his face. Then I said at the perfect volume, loud, enough for him to hear through the door. Now that I can't see any trash, my mood is better and my appetite improved. Zhou Cheng's jaw clenched so hard I could probably hear his teeth grinding from inside. He stormed upstairs, where Bai Wei had dinner waiting. He looked at the table. All vegetables. Not a scrap of meat. He thought about the pork I'd just served Lu Xiao and pulled out 2 yuan from his pocket. Wei Wei, we haven't had meat in a while. Buy a pound tomorrow and make braised pork. Sure. I'll make you the best braised pork, Bai Wei chirped. They sat down to eat. The food was either too salty, too bland, or literally undercooked. Zhou Cheng's eyebrows knotted together with every bite. When did Bai Wei's cooking get this bad? He suffered through every bite because wasting food wasn't an option. Meanwhile, his brain was probably playing a highlight reel of all the meals I used to cook for him. Miss me yet, buddy? After dinner, I boiled water for Lu Xiao's bath. Same routine as yesterday. He washed inside, I waited outside. When he was done, I wheeled him to the bedroom for the dreaded pants procedure. This time, Lu Xiao came prepared. He had a blanket draped strategically over his lower half like a privacy fortress. I kept my composure. Professional. Clinical. I grabbed his ankle, slid the pants up his legs, and then leaned in close. Commander Lu, I need to lift you to pull the pants up the rest of the way. Don't be nervous. My breath brushed against his face. He went rigid. Why would I be nervous? He said, voice cracking slightly. The second I lifted him and pulled the pants into place, my lips accidentally grazed his cheek. We both froze. The lingering warmth on my lips made my face turn red this time. But when I looked at his stupidly gorgeous face just inches away, my self-control evaporated once again. Commander Lu, I think I kissed your face red. Who gave you permission to kiss me? His heart was hammering. I could practically hear it. He turned his face away from me, which was a catastrophic mistake because it put his perfect side profile on full display. I made an involuntary lip-smacking sound. Commander Lu, your side profile just made my heart skip a beat. Again. You're unfairly handsome. Shu Yuan, can you please act normal? He was fully convinced the divorce had broken my brain. In his mind, no respectable woman, divorced or not, would say things this shameless. I was clearly having some kind of mental breakdown. I pouted and studied his condition. Face red, ears red, neck red. The man was blushing from head to chest like a human thermometer. He was embarrassed out of his mind. I grinned. Commander Lu, I want to act normal. But you're so unreasonably handsome that normal stops being an option the second I look at you. He rolled onto his side, facing the wall, and delivered his ultimate threat. Shu Yuan, if you keep being this abnormal, I'm hiring a different caretaker. I folded instantly.
Spine? Gone. Attitude?
Vanished.
Pride?
What pride?
I'm sorry. Commander Lu.
I'll be normal. I promise. I was lying. We both knew I was lying. But at least I get to keep my job for one more day. I'll try to act normal from now on. It's late. Get some rest. Good night. I bolted out of his room like the building was on fire. Behind me, Lu Xiao lay in bed, muttering to himself. What does she mean she'll try to be normal? Shouldn't she just be normal? He touched the spot on his cheek where my lips had grazed him, said nothing, and went to sleep. As for me, after a quick bath, I grabbed a pair of scissors and got to work on this disaster of a hairstyle. The original Shu Yuan's bangs were so long they could have been classified as a curtain. I trimmed them into a cute parted fringe, finally exposing my eyes and face to the world. I looked in the mirror. Not ugly, but the yellowish, dull skin situation was not it. Time for the magic treatment. I squeezed spirit spring water from my ring into a basin and dunked my entire face in it. The longer I soaked, the faster this glow-up would happen. After a good soak, I checked the mirror again. Progress. My skin was already lighter and smoother. But now that the yellowness was fading, the freckles were becoming more visible. Of course, the universe has jokes. I patted my cheeks and gave myself a pep talk. It's fine. It's fine. A few more soaks and those freckles are gone. Operation Become Beautiful, officially in progress. Target date, soon. After hanging up all the laundry, mine and Lu Xiao's, I checked on the medicine pills I'd been preparing in the kitchen. Whether I make my first fortune tomorrow depends entirely on you little guys. I packed them neatly into a box and went to bed. Next morning, I woke up early and made hand-pulled noodles for breakfast. Rolled out the dough, cut it into pinky-width strips, boiled them up, tossed them with leftover pork slices, fresh greens, and a killer sauce. I placed the bowl in Lu Xiao's hands. Commander Lu, handmade noodles today. Try it. If it needs more soy sauce, just say the word. He slurped one bite. The noodles were chewy, perfectly seasoned, coated in fragrant sauce. One bite turned into two turned into a full-speed noodle demolition. The man was inhaling them. He didn't say a single compliment, but the way he ate told me everything. Commander Lu, I need to go to the market after breakfast. I'll try to be back by noon. If you need anything while I'm gone, ask the wives in the compound for help. He nodded. That was his entire response. A nod. I stared at this man of approximately 4 words per day and genuinely ran out of things to say myself. After breakfast, I grabbed my box of homemade medicine pills and headed to town. I set up shop right outside the hospital and started my sales pitch. Step right up, folks. Don't miss out. Miracle pills that cure all ailments. 1 yuan each. Cheap and effective. Full refund if they don't work. People leaving the hospital started gathering around me. These poor souls looked rough, pale faces, non-stop coughing, some even coughing up blood. I took the wrist of the worst-looking patient and checked his pulse. My eyebrows shot up. Sir, you have tuberculosis. This is contagious. Why aren't you wearing a mask in public? Everyone within a 3-foot radius scattered like startled birds. Don't panic, everyone, I called out. Yes, tuberculosis is contagious, and yes, the hospital can't cure it. But I can. My pills treat all kinds of stubborn illnesses. 1 yuan per pill. 6 pills for a full cure. Even 1 pill will show results. Want to try? The crowd stared at me like I was either a genius or a con artist. Mostly leaning toward con artist. Girl, if the doctors can't fix us, how are your pills gonna do it? Some of us have been sick for years. You're telling me 6 pills will fix that? Come on, you're so young. Why aren't you doing something honest instead of scamming sick people? Scamming? These pills were made with premium herbs and spirit spring water. They were practically liquid miracles in pill form. I took a deep breath and channeled my inner infomercial host. Aunties and uncles, I know I look young, but I am not a scammer. These pills genuinely work. Buy one, take it, and you'll feel the difference immediately. Nothing. Blank stares. Tough crowd. I pulled out my secret weapon, and if they don't work, I'll give you a full refund. That got their attention. Money-back guarantee is the universal language of trust. After a moment of hesitation, people started pulling out cash. Fine girl. We heard what you said. If these don't work, you OWES. Deal. Give me one. One by one, people bought a pill and swallowed it right there. The results were instant. The tuberculosis patient stopped coughing blood. Stopped coughing entirely. The color returned to his face like someone was adjusting the saturation slider in real time. The others who'd been exhausted and weak, their fatigue vanished like someone flipped a switch. They were suddenly standing straighter, eyes brighter, practically buzzing with energy. The crowd went from, "This girl is a fraud," to "Take my money," in about 30 seconds. Miss, this is incredible. One pill, and I feel half cured already. Give me 2 more. I want to. 5 for me. I'll take 6. My entire stock of 40-something pills was gone in the blink of an eye. People were literally fighting over them. The ones who didn't get any looked heartbroken. Miss, is that all you have? Do you have more? I smiled. That's all for today, but I'll make more tonight and come back tomorrow. Same time, same place. We'll be here. Everyone who'd bought pills was grinning ear to ear, thrilled that their years-long illnesses finally had a real solution. Oh, one more thing. How should we take these? These pills are powerful. If your body is weak, take one every 3 days. 6 pills over 18 days total. 18 days gave the spirit spring water and herbs time to work gradually through their systems. Taking one every day would be too intense. The healing process could overwhelm a weak body, and the pain might literally be unbearable. Because these 6 pills were basically a full body reset, like flushing out your entire system and rebuilding from scratch. The process was painful. Go too fast, and your body can't handle it. Go slow and steady, and you come out the other side with a brand new body. But I was not about to recommend the speedrun version to a bunch of middle-aged aunties and uncles. Slow and safe it was. Everyone nodded and memorized my instructions. I said my goodbyes and headed off with my earnings to go shopping. First stop, the herbal medicine shop, where I bought a mountain of ingredients. Then the market, where I spotted beef. 4 whole pounds of it. At 1.8 yuan per pound, that came to 7.8 yuan. Money well spent. And besides, I could always make more. I loaded up on seasonings and spices and headed back to the compound. The moment I walked in, every military wife in the neighborhood popped out like meerkats, their eyes laser-focused on the giant bag of beef in my hands. How much meat is that? That bag is huge. Ever since Shu Yuan moved into the commander's place, she's living like royalty. The commander gives her money for meat every day. I'm so jealous. Does the commander need another caretaker? Asking for myself. Has anyone noticed she seems different? She's way calmer now. They were right. The old Shu Yuan would have exploded at their gossip and started throwing punches. But me? I walked right past them without a flicker of reaction. They were baffled. Had I undergone a personality transplant?
Yes.
Literally. But they didn't need to know that. I got home close to noon, called out to Lu Xiao that I was back, and dove into the kitchen. Medicine brewing on one burner, beef getting demolished on the cutting board. Today's plan: half the beef for homemade meatballs, half for beef jerky snacks. Lu Xiao heard me banging around in the kitchen and wheeled himself out. Cough, cough. I put down my knife and turned around. Commander Lu, why are you out here? Hungry? Rice is cooking, but the main dish needs a bit more time. He started wheeling toward the sofa, but because he couldn't see, misjudged the distance and crashed straight into the table.
Bang!
The sound echoed through the whole apartment. I rushed out and saw a red mark blooming on his forehead. I reached up and started gently rubbing it. Commander Lu, your forehead is all red. Does it hurt? Let me boil an egg later and roll it on the bruise. That should help. His expression went cold. He was angry at himself, disgusted by his own helplessness. That's not necessary, he said flatly. Let me remember the pain so I don't make the same mistake. He grabbed my hand, removed it, and tossed it aside. Go cook. Don't worry about me. I could sense something deeper going on. This wasn't just about a bumped forehead. This was a decorated military commander who couldn't even navigate his own living room without crashing into furniture that had to eat at him. I leaned down and gently blew on his forehead. Commander Lu, I'm your caretaker. If you're hurt, it's literally my job to care. Let me blow on it. It'll feel better, I promise. Warm breath on his forehead. His whole body went stiff. He gripped the wheelchair armrests, turned to face me, and said the only thing that could make me stop. I'm hungry, I laughed. Food coming right up. Just hold on a little longer. As I headed back to the kitchen, I paused and looked over my shoulder. Commander Lu, you're amazing. I haven't done anything. What's amazing about me? You got yourself out of the bedroom on your own. You found your way to the kitchen. You eat by yourself, bathe by yourself, sleep by yourself. How is that not amazing? Your sense of direction is really strong. Okay, occasionally it's a tiny bit off, but that doesn't stop me from admiring you. Silence. Was she comforting him? On purpose? Something shifted in his chest that he couldn't quite name. He covered it with his usual gruffness. You talk too much. I just gave him a heartfelt pep talk and he said I talk too much? If he weren't so devastatingly handsome, I would have been furious. But that face, that stupid, gorgeous face was my weakness, and he didn't even know it. I went back to the kitchen and started pounding the beef into mince. Mixed an egg, potato starch, and seasonings. Rolled everything into perfect little meatballs and dropped them into boiling water. Once they floated, I fished them out, stir-fried ginger and garlic, added water, and tossed the meatballs back in for a rich braised finish. The smell that came out of that kitchen was absolutely sinful. So powerful it completely overpowered the medicine smell. Lu Xiao's nose was probably having the best day of its life. I served the meatballs, placed his chopsticks in his hand, and picked up pieces for him. Commander Lu, today's lunch is braised beef meatballs. Braised beef meatballs? He'd never heard of such a thing. He bit into one. Juicy, tender, bursting with beefy, savory flavor. His eyes, blind as they were, practically sparkled. Very good, he said. Coming from a man of 4 words per day, that was basically a standing ovation. I noticed sauce on the corner of his mouth and instinctively reached out to wipe it off with my thumb. Then I realized what I'd done and quickly explained. You had sauce on your lip. That's all. He grunted in acknowledgement and was about to take another bite when... Oh, great. Zhou Cheng's voice came floating in from the doorway. Shu Yuan, you really are pulling out all the stops to get my attention, this man. Could he not let me eat one meal in peace? I turned to look at him with maximum disgust. Zhou Cheng, is it physically possible for you to be less obsessed with yourself? He blinked, genuinely confused. Him? Self-obsessed? Where? Then he delivered his delusional masterpiece. Shu Yuan, you saw me walking by and immediately touched Commander Lu's lips just to make me jealous. So tell me, am I the self-obsessed one? Or are you the one inventing new tricks to get me to notice you? I stared at him. This man had built an entire alternate reality where every single thing I did was secretly about him. I wiped sauce off another man's mouth, and somehow that was a seduction strategy targeting Zhou Cheng. I wanted to slap him so hard his ancestors would feel it. But before I could respond, he hit me with another line. Shu Yuan, I'm telling you, no matter what tricks you pull, I will never look at you twice. I will never like you. Give up already. Then this absolute walnut turned to Lu Xiao and said, Commander Lu, she's only working as your caretaker to make me jealous. If you don't want her using you as a prop, you should kick her out. I stared at him.
Where is my
knife? Bad enough that this man had the self-awareness of a goldfish, but now he was actively trying to get me fired? Did he think I was some declawed kitten? Oh, you want smoke? I'll give you smoke. I put down my chopsticks, walked up to Zhou Cheng and slapped him on both cheeks, left, right, like I was seasoning a steak. Before he could even process what happened, I kicked him in the stomach for good measure. Get out. You're ruining our appetite. He doubled over in pain. As I went to slam the door, the genius stuck his hand in the gap to stop it. Bad move. I slammed it anyway, full force. He yanked his hand back just in time to keep all his fingers. I locked the door before he could say another word. From outside, his muffled voice howled. Shu Yuan, you think hitting me will get my attention? I'm telling you, nothing you do will make me notice you. Give up, Lu Xiao. Stunned silence. Me, genuinely questioning whether this man had an actual brain injury. Where did he get this confidence? I just slapped him twice and kicked him in the gut, and his takeaway was, she likes me so much, she can't control herself. This wasn't self-love. This was a clinical condition. Disgusting. I spat, then sat back down next to Lu Xiao. Commander Lu, Zhou Cheng's brain doesn't work properly. Nothing he said is true. Please don't believe him. Lu Xiao's expression was unreadable. I don't need to know about you, and Zhou Cheng. I'm not interested. Ouch. Cold. I sat there in silence for a moment before saying, Commander Lu, I'm only telling you this because I don't want you to misunderstand me and kick me out. I genuinely need this job. His face remained neutral. As long as you do your job well, I won't fire you over anything Zhou Cheng says. A pause. Then he added, but I don't like being used. So don't use me to provoke Zhou Cheng. I swear on everything, I was not using him. I wiped sauce off his mouth because there was sauce on his mouth. That was the entire story. But I could feel the more I explain, the worse it sounds, trap closing in, so I shut up and ate in silence. After lunch, I brought out his medicine. Commander Lu, today's dose is ready. He took the bowl and drank the whole thing without expression. The second he put the bowl down, I popped a candy into his mouth. Candy after medicine makes everything better. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go brew more. He paused. I just finished one dose, and you're already making the next? How much are you planning to make me drink? I pretended not to hear and disappeared into the kitchen. He cleared his throat, sighed, and went back to his Braille documents. That's when the front door swung open, and in walked a woman dressed like she owned 3 mansions and a yacht. Lu Xiao's mother. She sniffed the air immediately. Medicine smell. Her eyes landed on the kitchen and narrowed. Son, who is that woman in your kitchen? My caretaker. Her eyebrows shot up. Just days ago, he'd told her he didn't need a caretaker. Now he had one? She was immediately suspicious. Was this some scheming seductress trying to sink her claws into her injured son? You there, kitchen girl. Come out here. I wiped my hands and stepped out. Madame Lu took one look at my face, and I could literally watch the threat level in her brain drop to 0. Dark skin, skinny, rough-looking. In her eyes, there was absolutely no way her son would be attracted to this. She visibly relaxed. I see. Just a caretaker. Wow. Being ugly just saved my job. Thank you, malnutrition. Which hospital assigned you here? She asked. Oh no. I had no credentials.
No diploma.
No medical license from this century. If she found out I was just some random divorced woman with 0 qualifications, she'd have me out the door before I could say, Spirit Spring. Time to rebrand. Actually, Auntie, I'm not exactly a caretaker. I'm more of a housekeeper. I used to live upstairs with my ex-husband Zhou Cheng. We divorced a couple days ago, and I heard Commander Lu needed someone to cook and look after him. So here I am. Her surprise was obvious. She'd never seen me before. She looked me up and down again, and once more, my unfortunate appearance was my greatest asset. 0 threat detected. You seem pretty young. Are you sure you can take care of my son properly? I smiled. Why don't you ask him yourself? She turned to Lu Xiao. He said flat and simple. Mom, Shu Yuan has been taking care of me well.
Don't worry, she sighed.
You've been stubborn since you were a child. Refused the professional caretaker I arranged. Refused to let Ling Ling come help. Fine. Keep your housekeeper for now. If you need anything, tell me and I'll send it over. Their interaction was cold. polite but distant, like two colleagues making small talk at a water cooler. From the original Shu Yuan's memories and what I could piece together, Lu Xiao had been raised by his grandparents, not his parents. After his grandparents passed, he never went back to the Lu family home. His parents were basically strangers who shared his DNA. That explained a lot about the wall he kept around himself. Madame Lu got up to leave and asked me to walk her out. At the gate, she pressed a stack of money into my hands. "Since you're my son's housekeeper, use this to buy him better food. His father and I have arranged a fourth surgery for him next month. I need his body in better condition before then." Fourth surgery? He'd already had 3 failed operations this month. Each surgery was brutal on the body. Were they trying to heal him or kill him? No wonder Lu Xiao kept his parents at arm's length. They treated his body like a machine they could just keep sending back to the repair shop. "Did you hear me?" I took the money and said, "I heard you, Auntie. But honestly, 100 yuan isn't going to go very far if you want me to really get his health up. How about you throw in a little more? I'll buy some premium herbal supplements tomorrow and get him properly nourished." Madame Lu hesitated, then pulled out another 100 yuan. 200 total. "That's enough for anything. I'll be back next month to check on my son's condition. If he's not better, I'm replacing you. Less than half a month." I could only focus on his eyes for now. The legs would have to wait. Pushing too hard on a body this battered could backfire badly. "Don't worry, Auntie. I'll take excellent care of Commander Lu." I went back inside and told Lu Xiao about the money. He didn't even blink. "She gave it to you, so use it for groceries." This man was remarkably chill about handing me cash. Wasn't he worried I'd scam him? Then again, I wasn't the scamming type. "I'll keep a detailed record of every purchase. When your eyes are better, you can review my accounts. Not a single cent unaccounted for." He went quiet. He clearly didn't believe his eyes would ever recover. He'd already given up hope, and my optimism probably sounded like noise to him. I let it go and headed to the kitchen to brew more medicine and make beef jerky. Cut the beef into strips, marinated it, boiled it briefly, drained it, deep-fried it, then tossed it in my special seasoning blend. The smell that erupted from that wok nearly knocked me unconscious with deliciousness. "Oh my God, that smells incredible." I plated it up and brought it to Lu Xiao. "Commander Lu, fresh beef jerky. It's still hot, let it cool before you try it." With nothing else to do, I sat down next to him and watched him struggle through his Braille documents. His fingers moved slowly, deliberately, and I could tell it was exhausting. "Commander Lu, those seem hard to read by touch. Want me to read them out loud for you?" He looked up, genuinely surprised. "You can read." Most of the military wives around here had barely finished elementary school. Some had never been to school at all. A former homeless orphan who could read? That blew his mind. My eye twitched. He'd been assuming I was illiterate this whole time? Of course I can read. Just because I was a beggar doesn't mean I was dumb. There were educated people among us street folk. They taught me. Then go ahead. He handed me the stack of documents and I started reading. My voice apparently made an impression because at one point I caught him zoning out, like the sound reminded him of something he couldn't quite place. By 5 o'clock, I'd read through everything. I was gasping for air. "Commander Lu, your workload is insane. Your eyes don't even work and you're processing this much material? Is all of this really necessary? What else should I do? Sit in one spot and stare at nothing all day? Fair point. A blind man in a wheelchair with nothing to occupy his mind would spiral fast. Work was his lifeline. Well, it's dinner time now. Since you're so eager to stay busy, come help me in the kitchen. I can't see. What could I possibly help with?" I didn't give him a chance to refuse. Wheeled him straight into the kitchen, grabbed a bunch of scallions, and shoved them into his hands. "Commander Lu, trim these scallions for me." He stared blankly, faced my general direction blankly. "Oh, and when you're done, peel some garlic too. I put it on your right side." While he fumbled with the scallions by touch alone, I got the rice going, cracked some eggs, and sliced the remaining beef. I peeked over at his progress, and oh no, he'd ripped off all the green tops and kept only the roots. The exact opposite of what I needed. I walked up behind him, leaned over, and wrapped my hands around us to guide him. Commander Lu, you want to trim the bottom part. Keep the green tops for me. I need those. Like this, see? My voice was right next to his ear. His hands froze. His entire body went rigid.
Step
back, he said through clenched teeth. I noticed his ear tips were glowing red again. I leaned even closer to his ear and whispered, Commander Lu, are your ears red? Are you blushing, Shu Yuan? I am telling you for the last time.
Step
back. Okay. I let go and straightened up. Then I remembered I needed the scallions he'd already trimmed, so I leaned back down to grab them. At the exact same moment, Lu Xiao turned his head. Our lips collided.
Direct hit.
So it turns out those accidental kiss scenes in TV dramas are not fake. They actually happen in real life. I blinked, lips still touching his. Before I could pull away, he pulled away first. Shu Yuan, why did you suddenly lean in? My cheeks were burning. I was reaching for the scallions. But you turned your head at the worst possible moment, and, well, your lips found mine. Commander Lu, I need you to know something. I was married to Zhou Cheng for an entire year, and he never once kissed me or touched me. But I've been with you for 2 days, and you've already kissed me multiple times. Don't you think, as a man of honor, you should take responsibility? I was joking, obviously, just teasing him like I always did. But Lu Xiao took it completely seriously. His expression shifted. In this era, a woman's reputation mattered enormously. He'd been accidentally kissing and touching her repeatedly. If word got out, it could ruin her. He straightened up, face flushed but voice steady. If you don't mind that I'm blind and can't walk, I can take responsibility for you. I'm sorry, what? My pupils contracted. I stared at this man whose face was steadily turning the color of a fire truck. Did he actually just? I smacked my own ears to check they were working. Commander Lu, did you mean that? You'd actually take responsibility? But I'm divorced. I'm your subordinate's ex-wife. You wouldn't be embarrassed to be with me? He fired back without hesitation. I'm blind. My legs don't work. And I'm older than you. If you're not embarrassed to be with me, then what's embarrassing about you being divorced? I meant what I said. If you'll have me, I'll take responsibility. If you won't, I can offer compensation instead. Compensation? Was he going to offer me money? Look, money is great. I love money. But I could make my own money. A man like Lu Xiao, though, once I fixed his eyes and legs, combined with that face, women would be swarming him like bees to honey. If I didn't lock this down now, I'd never get another chance. Between cash and this man, the choice was obvious. But first, a strategic question. Commander Lu, what kind of compensation are we talking about? I can give you money. My mouth moved faster than my brain. Money. Could never be as good as you. He went silent. In his mind, he was blind, couldn't walk, and had nothing going for him except his military rank. What could possibly be good about him? If I chose him, I'd be signing up to care for a disabled man for the rest of my life. No light at the end of the tunnel. Was I sure? Shu Yuan. Think carefully. I leaned forward and kissed him right on the lips. Quick, light, decisive. Commander Lu, I've thought about it. I don't want money. I want you. When you're healed, marry me. Having a home in this world. That sounded really nice. He frowned. Shu Yuan. Has it occurred to you that my eyes and legs might never recover? If you're waiting for me to get better before I marry you, you could be waiting forever. They will get better. I trust my own medical skills. And even if they don't, I'd still marry you. He was completely baffled. Even if he stayed broken, she'd still say yes? What was going through this woman's head? Why? Simple. It was love at first sight. His face was my dream type. His personality was solid. He was kind underneath all that gruffness. What wasn't there to like? He started coughing again. The man was going to develop a chronic cough just from talking to me. You just divorced Zhou Cheng and you've already fallen in love with me? Don't you think you're moving through men a little fast? Okay. When he put it that way, it did sound a bit speedy. I cleared my throat and dialed back the enthusiasm by approximately 1%. Commander Lu, I know you might not believe me right now, but I'll prove it with my actions. I genuinely like you, And Zhou Cheng? You just divorced him and already moved on. That loser? I was over him the second I filed the paperwork. Commander Lu, from now on, the only person in my heart and my eyes is you. He was still skeptical. He probably figured I was either mentally unstable from the divorce or using him to make Zhou Cheng jealous. But he'd made a promise to take responsibility, and Lu Xiao was a man of his word. Whatever happened, he'd figure it out as they went. Let's just cook dinner. Yes, sir. I grabbed the scallions from his hands, washed and chopped them, and started stir-frying the beef. Lu Xiao sat in his wheelchair peeling garlic, blind but efficient. It was better than leaving him idle with his thoughts. Dinner was incredible, if I do say so myself. I piled Lu Xiao's bowl high with a bit of everything. Commander Lu, I put some of each dish in your bowl. Eat up, I'll add more if you want. He ate. I ate. The food was fantastic. Life was good. Upstairs, life was not good. Zhou Cheng and Bai Wei were eating dinner too. Tonight they actually had meat, the stuff Zhou Cheng had given Bai Wei money to buy. But the taste was tragic. Some bites were drowning in salt. Others had no flavor at all. The green beans might have been raw. Zhou Cheng frowned. Wei Wei, why does your cooking taste so different from before? Here's the thing. The food Zhou Cheng had been enjoying this past year? That was all me. The original Shu Yuan made every meal. But Bai Wei had been taking credit, telling Zhou Cheng she cooked everything. Now that I was gone, Bai Wei was following my recipe step by step, but somehow producing culinary disasters. She was basically living proof that cooking is an art, not a science. If this kept up, Zhou Cheng would figure out who the real chef was. Bai Wei had prepared for this moment. She held up her finger with a tiny cut on it. Cheng, my hand is injured. It hurts to hold the spatula, so the food turned out wrong. I'm sorry. She lowered her head, looking fragile and pitiful. Zhou Cheng grabbed her hand and blew on it like she'd survived a war wound. Wei Wei, I'm not complaining. I just noticed the taste was different. Since your hand hurts, I'll bring food from the cafeteria from now on. You're so good to me, Cheng. She batted her eyelashes at him. They finished dinner. Romantic.
Sweet. Disgusting.
Then Karma showed up. Both of them started getting violent stomach cramps, running to the bathroom, throwing up, fighting over the single toilet. The smell was so catastrophic they couldn't even stand being near each other. By 9 o'clock, they were so dehydrated they had to drag themselves to the military clinic, leaning on each other like two zombies who'd eaten bad brains. Beautiful. I knew nothing about any of this. I'd just finished my bath and wanted to check on Lu Xiao before bed. I tiptoed into his room. He was lying perfectly still, asleep, straight as a board, like a soldier even in his dreams. I pulled his blanket up and reached over to turn on his fan. The instant I got close, his eyes snapped open. His hand shot out, grabbed me, pulled me onto the bed, and wrapped around my throat. Military reflexes. Terrifying military reflexes. Commander Lu, I squeaked. I was just fixing your blanket and turning on the fan.
I'm friendly.
Not a threat. He recognized my voice and slowly released me. Don't enter my room at night. Ever. I rubbed my neck and, because I apparently have a death wish, asked, what about after I become your wife? Still can't come in. He had no answer for that. Lu Xiao had no idea how to respond to my question about sleeping arrangements. His brain was buffering. So I pushed harder, because that's what I do. Commander Lu, you're really planning to sleep in separate rooms from your own wife? You're a healthy adult man. You're telling me you have zero needs in that department? Or is it that you literally can't until your legs heal? His face contorted into an expression I'd never seen before, somewhere between mortified and offended. Shu Yuan, you are a woman, lying next to me on my bed discussing this topic. Do you think this is appropriate? Well, you already said you'd take responsibility for me. Might as well get used to having each other around, right? The man looked like his soul was trying to evacuate his body. He'd never been this close to a woman in his life. Shu Yuan, until we have an official marriage certificate, I will not share a bed with you. Now get out. Were all men in the 1980s this pure? This precious? This absolutely delightful to tease? I loved it. He was like a freshly wrapped gift I wanted to keep unwrapping forever. Easy to flirt with and gorgeous? The perfect combination. I sat up, looked him over one more time, leaned close to his ear and whispered, "Since the commander insists, I'll go back to my room. Good night." Then I kissed him on the lips and bounced out of there before he could react. Behind me, I could hear his breathing accelerate. His face was probably red enough to be visible from space. "What is wrong with that woman?" he muttered. In my room, I flopped onto the bed, buried my burning face in my hands, and rolled back and forth like a human burrito. So embarrassing. Why am I like this? But also, the look on his face when I kissed him? Priceless. A man that reserved, that inexperienced, being ambushed by a shameless time traveler? He was probably lying in bed, right now more flustered than I was. The thought made me grin like an idiot. Okay, sleep time. Next morning, I made flatbread, vegetable congee, and a simple stir-fried cabbage. We'd been eating heavy, greasy food for days. Time for something light. While the porridge simmered, I went to wash up and caught my reflection. My skin was visibly improving. Brighter.
Smoother.
The spirit's spring water was doing its magic. This ring is the greatest thing I've ever bought. At this rate, I'll have my full beauty back within a week. I washed my face with more spirit spring water, pulled my hair into a high ponytail, and got to cleaning the house. I planned to go sell medicine after breakfast, so I needed to tidy up first. When Lu Xiao woke up, I got his wash basin ready. "Commander Lu, the congee needs more time. You wash up first while I clean your room, then I'll start on the flatbread." The moment I mentioned cleaning his room, his expression shifted. Full panic mode. "Stop." I froze. "What's wrong?" "My room doesn't need cleaning right now. Go make the flatbread." "I'm hungry." I didn't think much of it. "Okay." Off to the kitchen I went. The second I was out of sight, Lu Xiao let out a massive sigh of relief. See, last night, after all my teasing, he'd had a, let's call it an inappropriate dream, and as a result, his bedsheets were in a state that he absolutely could not let me discover. The moment I left the house later, that man was going to be scrubbing those sheets like his dignity depended on it. Because it did. After breakfast, flatbread with shredded potato, I packed up my pills and got ready to head out. "Commander Lu, I left extra flatbread and beef jerky on the table for you. If I'm late for lunch, eat those. Water's on the table too." I got to the door, stopped, ran back, and planted a kiss right on his lips before he could react. His brain made an audible boom sound, like a small explosion went off inside his skull. "Shu Yuan." I pulled back with my most serious face. "Lu Xiao, I thought about it carefully last night. You said you'd take responsibility for me, but we don't actually have any romantic feelings yet. So, I think we should build them up before the wedding. You don't have a problem with that, right, building feelings?" "No problem." But her method of building feelings seemed aggressive. "Shu Yuan, you're a woman. You shouldn't be this forward. It cheapens you. And furthermore," I kissed him again, mid-sentence. Just sealed those lips shut. He jerked away, flustered beyond repair.
Shu Yuan.
"If you keep doing this, I'm going to get angry." I licked my lips and smiled. "Lu Xiao, has anyone ever told you that you look really handsome when you're angry?" He was done. Completely out of words. Out of responses. Out of composure. He'd also noticed I'd switched from Commander Lu to just Lu Xiao. We'd known each other for barely a few days, and we'd already reached the kissing on the lips, first-name basis stage. Was this relationship moving a bit fast?
Just
go buy groceries, he said in defeat. Okay. I skipped out the door, mood absolutely fantastic. After I left, Lu Xiao sat in silence for a moment, then wheeled himself to the bedroom, carefully stripped the bed, and took the sheets to the bathroom for a very thorough, very private scrubbing session. He'd never had feelings for a woman before, never even thought about it. So why was Shu Yuan, this loud, shameless, aggressively affectionate woman, making him feel things he didn't know existed? Was he losing his mind? When I arrived near the hospital, there was already a crowd waiting for me. Word had spread overnight. The second they spotted me, they didn't even let me walk over. They ran at me with money in their fists. "Miss, we heard your pills cure everything. 6 pills and any disease is gone? Is that true? I was completely surrounded. I nodded. It's true. Give me 6. Me too. 6. Young lady, this is our life savings. You better not be scamming us. I looked at the crowd of desperate patients and gave them my ironclad guarantee. Listen up, everyone. If you buy 6 pills and your illness isn't cured, I will give you a full refund. Every single cent. That sealed the deal. Pills flew out of my hands like concert tickets. Sold out in minutes. After subtracting herb costs, I netted 50 yuan profit. Not bad for a morning's work. But I couldn't rely on medicine sales forever. Eventually, I'd run out of sick people. I needed a side hustle. What exactly? I'd figure that out later. Meanwhile, back at the hospital, the director was standing in his half-empty waiting room, scratching his head. Where did all my patients go? This time of day, it's usually packed. What happened? Nobody could answer him. He just stood there frowning at the empty chairs. Sorry, doc. Your patients found a better option. At the market, the fish was looking gorgeous today. I grabbed the biggest one. 7 whole pounds. That'll be $3.50, said the vendor. 50 cents a pound? Cheaper than pork? I loved the 1980s. Everything was a bargain. I paid up, grabbed some chili peppers and scallions, and headed home. When I got back to the compound, the military wives were huddled together buzzing about something juicy. Did you hear? Zhou Cheng got food poisoning from Bai Wei's green beans last night. Wasn't Bai Wei supposed to be a great cook? How'd she poison her own man? You know what I think? Ever since Shu Yuan left, Bai Wei's cooking has been terrible. What if all the good food was actually Shu Yuan's cooking the whole time? That makes so much sense. Have you smelled what Shu Yuan makes for the commander? It's heavenly. Compare that to whatever Bai Wei's been serving lately, night and day difference. I stepped out from behind them like a ghost at a seance. Ladies, you're all basically Sherlock Holmes. You nailed it. Every meal Bai Wei took credit for? That was me. She lied to Zhou Cheng to impress him. I kept quiet because I felt sorry for her and wanted to save her some dignity. Their eyes went wide. Gossip radar fully activated. So, why are you telling us now? I grinned. So, you all have something fun to talk about over tea. The real reason? The old Shu Yuan had been the one everyone whispered about, thanks to Bai Wei's behind-the-scenes scheming. But I wasn't the old Shu Yuan. Time to redirect the gossip cannon straight at Little Miss White Lotus. You want to play games with me, Bai Wei? You don't even know what league I'm in. I walked off with my fish, feeling extremely satisfied. Lu Xiao, I'm home. Since we were building feelings now, I dropped the formal, Commander Lu, and gone straight to first-name basis. Much cozier. I stepped inside, and why was the floor soaked? Water everywhere. I put down the fish and checked the bathroom. Faucet was off. So where did this flood come from? Lu Xiao, why is the floor a swimming pool? Did you wash something while I was gone? He wheeled himself out of the bedroom looking suspiciously guilty. I washed my bedsheets. Could you hang them up?
And
make my bed again. I stared at him. This man was blind. How did he even manage to wash sheets? Lu Xiao, from now on, if you need something washed, just leave it. I'll do it when I get back. Please stop flooding the apartment. He neither agreed nor disagreed. Just sat there in his wheelchair radiating awkward energy. I didn't question why he'd urgently needed to wash his sheets while I was out. Some mysteries are better left unsolved. I hung up the sheets, then started on lunch. I'll make your bed after we eat. For now, go hang out in your room, and I'll call you when food's ready. I've been in my room all morning. I want to help. Okay. Same as yesterday, scallions and garlic duty. Today's menu: boiled fish slices for lunch, fish balls for dinner. He went quiet. I don't eat fish. You don't like it? It is bones. Oh. He was afraid of choking on fish bones because he couldn't see them. That was actually really reasonable and kind of heartbreaking. Don't worry. I'll remove every single bone before cooking it. You won't find a single one. He was skeptical. Fish bones are embedded in every piece of flesh. How could anyone remove them all? But he couldn't see what I was doing, so he just sat there peeling garlic while listening to the rapid-fire chopping sounds from my cutting board. My knife skills were elite. I filleted that fish into paper-thin slices, deboned every piece, and marinated them. Then I made the sauce: chili, ginger, garlic, soy sauce. Added spirit spring water, brought it to a boil, dipped the fish slices for 20 seconds, pulled them out, topped everything with chili flakes, Sichuan peppercorn, and scallions, then poured sizzling hot oil over the top. The sizzle. The aroma. Heaven in a bowl.
Lu Xiao.
Dinner is served. I wheeled him out, set everything up, and started placing fish slices in his bowl. Careful, it's hot. He ate slowly at first, terrified of hidden bones. One bite. Then his eyes widened. There really are no bones. Shu Yuan, how did you get them all out? Easy. I just didn't use the bony parts. I kept piling fish into his bowl. Fish is packed with protein. Eat lots, it's good for healing. I used half the fish today. Tonight I'll make fish balls with the rest. How do you make fish balls? Same as pork meatballs. Mince it up, roll it into balls, boil them. Simple. After lunch, I washed up and went to make his bed. Lu Xiao followed me in his wheelchair and hovered nearby with suspicious nervousness. When you were making the bed, did you notice anything on it? Anything on the bed? Like what? I lifted the blanket and looked. I checked the bed thoroughly. Lifted the blanket. Looked under the pillows. Scanned every inch. I just did a full investigation, Commander. There's absolutely nothing on this bed. Did you lose something? Maybe it fell on the floor? I bent down and checked the floor too. Nothing. What was this man looking for? Lu Xiao's expression smoothed out suspiciously fast. If there's nothing there, forget it. Just make the bed. Something was definitely weird, but I couldn't figure out what. So I just made the bed, helped him onto it, and said, "Rest up. I'll go brew your medicine." As I clattered around in the kitchen, I could feel him relaxing at the sound of someone else being in the house. The man would never admit it, but I think having me around made him feel safe. A little while later, I came in with his medicine bowl. Time to drink up. It's still hot. Let me feed it to you. The second I said feed, Lu Xiao's brain went somewhere it should not have gone. Mouth to mouth, he asked. I blinked. Did this man just request mouth-to-mouth feeding? My face turned red, but I wasn't about to back down. If you want me to, I absolutely can. He opened his mouth to refuse, too late. I took a swig of medicine and pressed my lips to his, transferring it straight into his mouth. His Adam's apple bobbed as he swallowed. So, I did it again. And again. Sip, kiss, transfer. Sip, kiss, transfer. Until the entire bowl was empty. I'm not going to lie, that medicine was brutally bitter. My tongue was staging a protest. But the look on Lu Xiao's face? Worth every drop. I unwrapped a candy and popped it into his mouth. All done. Rest now. Call me if you need anything. I took the empty bowl to the kitchen, washed it, and started making pills with my remaining herbs. Supplies were running low. I only managed about 20 pills this time. I'd need to restock soon. As I was wrapping up, I spotted the military wives heading to the back garden with their baskets, and suddenly remembered. The original Shu Yuan had a vegetable plot back there. Every family in the compound got a patch of garden. It was summer, so everything was ripe. Long beans, eggplant, peppers, cucumbers, a whole harvest waiting. No way was I letting Zhou Cheng and Bai Wei eat my vegetables. I grabbed a basket from Lu Xiao's place and marched to the garden. The wives were already there picking from their plots. I walked up with a big smile. Hey ladies, picking vegetables? Your gardens look amazing this year. Look at those peppers, so big and green. You'll have to teach me your secrets sometime. They stared at me like they'd seen a ghost. The old Shu Yuan never talked to them unless she was screaming at them. Now here I was, friendly, chatty, complimenting their produce? Their brains couldn't process it. Your vegetables look fine too. Why would you need us to teach you? Yeah, with your temper, who dare give you gardening lessons? Fair point. The old me had burned every bridge in this compound. I picked a bunch of my best vegetables and started handing them out to the wives. Free vegetables. Strategic generosity. Ladies, I know I had a bad temper before. I was always fighting with you, and I'm sorry about that. But now that I'm divorced and away from Bai Wei, she can't manipulate me into picking fights with you anymore. So how about we start fresh? They looked confused. What does BAIWEI have to do with you fighting us? She seems so sweet and gentle. She wouldn't manipulate anyone. Are you just making stuff up to clear your own name? Oh, every word was true.
Think about it, I said.
I had zero beef with any of you personally. So why was I constantly starting fights out of nowhere? Because Bai Wei kept telling me you were all talking trash about Zhou Cheng and me behind my backs. She'd win me up until I exploded, then sit back and watch while I made enemies, and she played the sweet, innocent angel. She wanted everyone to hate me and love her. That way, when she finally replaced me as Zhou Cheng's wife, she'd already have all of you on her side. I let that sink in. But now that I've divorced Zhou Cheng and don't care about him anymore, Bai Wei has no ammunition. Look at us right now. We're having a perfectly normal, friendly conversation. When has that ever happened? The gears started turning. They looked at each other. Their eyes widened. She does seem different since the divorce. I knew that Bai Wei was shady. She looks innocent, but what kind of decent woman moves into another woman's home and steals her husband? Exactly. Shameless. Disgusting. Music to my ears. I handed out more vegetables, and the insults toward Bai Wei flowed even harder. It was like pouring fertilizer on gossip. Everything grew bigger and more colorful. The old Shu Yuan couldn't outplay Bai Wei's mind games.
But me?
I'd been trash-talking professionally for years in the 22nd century. I could redirect an entire social ecosystem with a basket of free eggplant. Bai Wei wanted to be the compound's darling.
Cool.
Let her experience what it felt like to be the one everyone whispered about. I finished picking every last vegetable from my plot, not leaving a single leaf for Zhou Cheng, and headed home in an excellent mood. Back at Lu Xiao's, I washed the long beans, blanched them, and set them outside to dry in the sun. That's when I heard it. Shu Yuan. I heard someone screech my name and turned around.
It was Bai Wei.
I took one look at her, immediately lost interest, and went back to hanging up my long beans. She did not appreciate being ignored.
Shu Yuan.
Look at me. I have something to ask you. You're too ugly. I don't want to look.
Just talk.
Don't make me face the direction. I might lose my lunch. My words hit her like acid. She actually laughed from sheer rage.
Me?
Calling her ugly?
I'm ugly.
I could never be uglier than you. I toss my hair with maximum attitude.
Wrong.
I'm prettier than you, and I'm not even being humble about it. Shu Yuan, have you no shame? Why would I need shame when I'm talking to a little fox who steals other women's husbands? She sputtered for a second, then got to her actual point. Why did you tell the wives that I manipulated you into fighting with them? Because of your lies. They're all yelling at me now. Lies? Every word was true. And wasn't it funny how when the old Shu Yuan was getting trashed by the entire compound, Bai Wei thought that was perfectly fine? But the second the spotlight turned on her, suddenly it was unacceptable. I had a whole speech prepared, but I condensed it to 2 words. You deserved it. You. Bai Wei clutched her chest like she was having a heart attack. Then she spotted some of the husbands walking by, and like flipping a switch, she crumpled to the ground in her signature fragile flower pose. Shu Yuan, I know you don't like me, but you can't go around ruining my reputation. Now all the wives hate me because of your lies. How am I supposed to keep living here? I crossed my arms and rolled my eyes. Then leave. This compound is for military families. You have no title, no status, and no right to be here. The men, being the gullible creatures they were, immediately jumped in. Shu Yuan, why are you always bullying Miss Bai? Apologize to her. Me? Apologize? To her? I turned to face them with zero hesitation. I didn't say anything wrong. Bai Wei is a homewrecker with no official status. Zhou Cheng is divorced now, which means he doesn't have a wife. So shouldn't this housing be given to families who actually need it? Why is Little Miss Third Wheel still living here? The nickname, Little Miss Third Wheel, made Bai Wei's face change colors like a traffic light. She scrambled to her feet. I grew up with Cheng. We're childhood sweethearts. How am I a homewrecker? I smiled. Sure, you two go way back. But who did he marry?
Me.
We were doing just fine until you showed up and destroyed our marriage. If you're not the person who wrecked our relationship, then what exactly are you?
You.
I can't answer? Because you know you're a shameless homewrecker. So the only person who should be apologizing here is you. Not me. Brother Wang and Brother Chen, two of the husbands standing nearby, suddenly realized I had a point. A very good point. Miss Bai, you did interfere in their marriage. That's wrong. You should apologize. Yeah, apologize. Bai Wei looked betrayed. These guys were on her side 5 seconds ago. How did Shu Yuan flip them with just a few sentences? She tried the tears again. Brothers, I'm the one being bullied here. Brother Wang wasn't having it. She's bullying you because you stole her husband. If someone stole my wife, I wouldn't just talk. I'd throw hands. Shu Yuan's being nice about it. She only said a few words. What's her problem? Brother Chen piled on. No matter how you spin it, taking someone's husband is wrong. Just apologize. I stood there, deeply pleased. These men had functioning moral compasses. Refreshing. Bai Wei's fists clenched so hard her knuckles turned white. If I apologize, that means I'm admitting I stole Ching from her. But I didn't do anything wrong. So I won't apologize. Then she floated away like a dying heroine from a soap opera, crying delicately, looking as frail as a flower petal in a storm. Brother Wang, Brother Chen, and I all watched her leave with matching expressions of pure disgust. If she didn't steal Zhou Cheng, then why was I divorced? Because of the weather? We shook our heads and went about our business. That evening, I made fish balls, 2 flavors, spicy and clear broth. I set them in front of Lu Xiao. Tonight's dinner, fish ball soup. I've got spicy and mild. Which one first? Either's fine. I handed him the mild broth. Start with this one. Careful, it's hot. He scooped one up, blew on it, and popped it in his mouth. The fish ball was bouncy, flavorful. Not fishy at all, and the broth was delicate and satisfying. Delicious, he said. There's more in the pot if you want seconds. Eat lots. But after 1 bowl, he stopped. I'm full. 1 bowl? This grown military man ate 1 bowl and called it quits? Something was off. He used to eat way more than this. Was he feeling sick? I watched him sit motionless in his wheelchair, and it clicked. He wasn't sick. He was controlling his food intake because going to the bathroom was difficult for him. He was limiting how much he ate to avoid the humiliation of needing help. My heart squeezed. I didn't say anything about it. I just took the bowl from his hands and set it aside. Rest for a bit. I'll finish eating and then help you with your bath. We sat in silence for the rest of the meal. After dinner, I filled the tub and wheeled him to the bathroom. Lu Xiao braced himself on the stool, struggling to pull down his own pants. Lu Xiao was struggling with his pants in the bathroom, so I went in to help. I grabbed the waistband and pulled. I pulled a little too hard. His pants came off, and he came with them straight onto the floor.
Lu Xiao.
Are you okay? Did that hurt? His answer was heartbreaking in a way he didn't intend. I can't feel pain down there, right? His legs. I wrapped my arms around his waist, lifted him back onto the stool, crouched down, and pulled his pants the rest of the way off. Pants are off. You can handle the shirt yourself. I'll be right outside. Yell if you need me. He washed up while I sat outside scrubbing his pants in a basin. About 10 minutes later, the water stopped. I could hear him fumbling around. Sounded like he'd gotten his shirt on but was struggling with the pants situation. Of course he was. There was no way he could do pants alone. I knocked and pushed the door open. Lu Xiao, just let me help with the pants. I heard a splashing sound. My eyes dropped automatically. And I saw something that was very much at attention. My face caught fire. I whipped my head away so fast I almost gave myself whiplash. So sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt. You carry on. I'm leaving. Shu Yuan. The man had officially zero privacy left. I had seen everything at this point. I stood outside the door trying to do damage control. Lu Xiao, don't worry. It was so dark in there. I didn't see anything. Silence. Then, really? I nodded vigorously even though he couldn't see me. Really, truly. Saw absolutely nothing. Then, because my mouth has a death wish independent of my brain, I added, besides, it's not like you're small or anything. What are you so embarrassed about? You just said you didn't see anything. So, how do you know the size? Oh no. I'd walked right into my own trap. Okay, I didn't see it just now, but I saw it before when I was helping you with pants on other nights. But don't be shy. Once we're officially together, I'll be seeing it every day anyway. Actually, not just seeing, I'll probably be using it regularly, so shut up. His face in that bathroom was probably glowing red enough to light up the entire room. I clamped both hands over my mouth. What did I even say wrong, though? It was all factually accurate. Lu Xiao was just being dramatic.
Well,
Dramatic wasn't the right word. Terminally pure was more like it. I waited outside for what felt like an eternity until he finally called me in. I wheeled him back to the bedroom. He had a shirt clutched over his lap like a security blanket. When you put my pants on, and oh looking, when had I ever looked on purpose? I sighed the sigh of a woman deeply exhausted by her boyfriend's modesty.
fine.
I'll close my eyes. Happy. I grabbed the pants, located his legs by touch, and closed my eyes. But since I couldn't see, my hands were just exploring freely, wandering.
Mapping terrain. He made a sound.
A very interesting sound. He grabbed my wrist. Shu Yuan, where are your hands going? I can't see. I don't know where anything is. This part is soft and squishy. Is that your butt? That's my leg. Oh, well, stop squirming then. I'm almost done. I pulled my arm free and continued wrestling the pants upward. When I got to the top, I had to lift his hips and give one big tug. Success.
Pants on.
I was panting from the effort. Just as I was about to open my eyes, my foot slipped on the wet floor and I went flying forward, crashing directly into him.
Another sound.
My hands, operating on pure survival instinct, grabbed onto the nearest thing for support. That thing was not his arm. We both froze. I yanked my hand back, opened my eyes, and found his face centimeters from mine.
I'm sorry.
That was also an accident. You're such a generous, forgiving man. You wouldn't get mad at me for that, right? I could see the explosion building behind his eyes.
So, I did the only logical thing.
I kissed him. Every word he was about to yell got pushed right back down his throat. When I pulled away, his anger had deflated like a balloon. I looked him dead in his sightless eyes and said with complete seriousness, "No being mean to me." He blinked. "I'm going to be your wife someday. So you need to start practicing spoiling me now." Lu Xiao opened his mouth.
Closed it.
Opened it again. The man had officially run out of anger, willpower, and resistance. "Get out. Good night." I vanished like a ninja. Lu Xiao lay in bed, fingers touching his lips, face burning. But what haunted him most wasn't the kiss. It was what I said, that I'd be his wife, that he needed to spoil me. The statement was not wrong, but he'd never spoiled anyone in his life. How does one even do that? Also, I clearly knew we weren't married yet. So why was I acting like we'd been together for years? What if I changed my mind later? My reputation would be in shambles. He decided he needed to have a serious talk with me about boundaries and appropriate behavior. Spoiler. That talk would never happen. Next morning, I made breakfast early and waited. And waited. Lu Xiao didn't come out of his room. I knocked. "Lu Xiao? Breakfast is ready." Inside, Lu Xiao stared down at his pants and bedsheets, dirty again, and pinched the bridge of his nose in frustration. Why do I keep dreaming about Shu Yuan every night? And why did his body keep reacting? He needed to hide the evidence before I found it. "I'm not hungry. Don't bother me. I want to be alone for a while." Not hungry? He barely ate last night, and now he was skipping breakfast too? "Lu Xiao, are you feeling sick? Should I come in and check on you?" "Come in." Lu Xiao's response was immediate and panicked. "Don't come in. I want to be alone. Go buy groceries." But I cleaned out the entire vegetable garden yesterday. We have plenty of food at home. I'm staying to take care of you. I could practically hear him sweating through the door. I want wontons today. You need to go buy meat. Go to the market. Right now. Don't worry about me. Why was he so desperate to get rid of me? What was going on in there? Something was suspicious. I decided to pretend to leave and sneak back to investigate. "Okay, fine, I'll go get meat for wontons. Breakfast is on the coffee table. Eat when you're hungry." I opened and closed the front door loudly, then crept back and peeked through the window. Lu Xiao waited until he was sure I was gone. Then he painfully changed out of his dirty pants, stripped the bed again, hauled everything to the bathroom in his wheelchair, and started scrubbing. My brow furrowed. I'd just changed those sheets yesterday. Why were they dirty again? Then a thought hit me like a truck. Oh no, was he? Because he couldn't move easily. Was he having accidents at night? Was he wetting the bed? And he was so ashamed that he'd rather send me away and struggle alone in a wheelchair to wash everything himself than let me find out? My heart cracked in half. This man, a decorated military commander, once the most capable and feared officer in the unit, was sitting in a dark bathroom, blind, alone, scrubbing his own sheets because he was too proud to let anyone see his weakness. I wasn't going to embarrass him. I quietly closed the door, stood guard outside to make sure nobody else came by, and waited until he was done. Then I slipped away to the market for real. For the record, I was wrong about the bedwetting. The actual reason was much more flattering to me, but I wouldn't figure that out for a while. Sometimes ignorance is a mercy for both of us. I skipped the medicine selling today, so I was back by 10:30.
Lu Xiao, got the meat.
I'll start on the dough and wrappers for your wontons right now. He was sitting on the sofa and too casually mentioned, I have a cleanliness thing. I like fresh sheets every day. So, I washed them again while you were out. Could you hang them up and remake the bed? A cleanliness thing. This man invented a fake personality trait to cover up his morning laundry emergency. Bold move. Sure, I hung up the sheets and his pants without comment, brought in the dry blanket from yesterday, made his bed, and got to work in the kitchen. Chopping meat. Rolling dough. The kitchen filled with the rhythmic thwack, thwack, thwack of my cleaver. From the living room, Lu Xiao listened for a while, then set down his documents. Need help? I almost said no, but then I imagined him sitting there feeling useless, so instead I grabbed a stack of wrappers and brought them over.
Yes.
I need your help desperately. I placed a wrapper in his palm and took his hand in mine. Let me teach you how to fold wontons step by step. He started to say something, probably I already know how, but I was already in teacher mode, my voice right next to his ear. I put the meat 5 centimeters in front of you. Scoop half a spoonful, place it on the wrapper, pinch it shut, and set it in the bowl to your left. I guided his fingers through the motions, pressing and folding. When the first wonton was done, I beamed.
There.
Did you get it? I let go and sat next to him, rolling out more wrappers while he folded. His wontons were, honestly, kind of ugly. Lumpy, uneven, a few leaking. But I didn't say a word about it. Lu Xiao, you're a natural. First try, and they already look this good. You deserve a reward. What reward? I leaned in and kissed him on the lips. He turned to stone. Complete petrification.
Shu Yuan.
I don't like women who are too forward. Could you please show some restraint? Stop kissing me out of nowhere. If other people saw this, what would they think of you? How would you ever find a husband? Find a husband? Didn't we just agree he was going to marry me when he recovered? Lu Xiao, as long as what you said about marrying me wasn't a lie, then I'm going to get married just fine. He never lied.
That much I knew about him.
Everything I said was true. If you'll marry me, I'll marry you. But waiting for my body to recover could take a lifetime, because in his mind, he was never getting better. I looked at this beautiful, defeated man and crouched down in front of him. I placed my hand on his face and said softly, Lu Xiao, trust me. I will cure you. Your eyes will recover in 3 days. Maximum. 3 days from now, you'll see light again. And once that happens, you'll believe me when I say I can fix your legs too. He didn't believe a single word. His eyes had been dead for a month. If they were going to recover, they would have done it already. Some random girl with no medical degree wasn't going to perform a miracle in 3 days. Shu Yuan, please don't get your hopes up about my condition. It wasn't about hopes. It was about confidence in MY skills. But clearly, words weren't going to convince him. Only results would. Fine, let's drop it. Back to wontons. We spent the next half hour in comfortable silence, him folding, me rolling. When the bowl was full, I took them to the kitchen. How many can you eat? 10 is enough. 10? That's what I eat on a light day. This was a grown military man eating like a dieting teenager. He was definitely restricting his food because of the bathroom situation. My heart ached. How was his body supposed to heal if he was barely eating? I looked at the mountain of wontons and dumped all of them into the pot. He was getting a full bowl whether he wanted it or not. I served him a heaping portion. Wontons are ready. Hot though, let them cool. He went back to folding the remaining wontons while I sat across from him, chin in my hands, staring at his face like it was a museum exhibit. So handsome, his hands paused. I can't even imagine how gorgeous our future children would be. He choked on air. His ears went pink. Shu Yuan, do you have any shame? With other people, sure. But you're my future husband. Why would I be embarrassed talking to my own husband about babies? He had absolutely zero comeback for that. Total system failure. He defaulted to topic change. Can I eat the wontons now? Still hot. Let me blow on them and feed you. Before he could refuse, I was already beside him, spooning up a wonton, blowing on it, and popping it into his mouth. How's the taste? Not bad. I ate one myself, fanning my mouth from the heat. Lu Xiao, I've eaten wontons my whole life, but today's are somehow the best I've ever had. Is it because you folded them? He literally just pinched dough shut. He didn't make the filling, the wrapper, or the broth. But sure, his wontons were magically superior. He was probably rolling his sightless eyes at me internally. But I also knew part of him wondered what my face looked like when I said these ridiculous things. Was I blushing? Smirking? Completely straight-faced? Open up. I fed him another wonton. And that's exactly when Zhou Cheng materialized at the doorway like a bad rash that wouldn't heal. Shu Yuan, can't you at least change up your tactics? Using Commander Lu to make me jealous every single day. Aren't you worried he'll get sick of you and throw you out? I wanted to throw my wonton at him. Zhou Cheng, do you have some kind of fundamental misunderstanding about your own attractiveness? We're divorced. Why would I use Lu Xiao to make you jealous? He puffed up his chest. Because you still love me and want to remarry. This man's delusion should be studied by scientists. Zhou Cheng, you're so repulsive that a stray dog wouldn't want you, let alone me. I'm done with you. I like Lu Xiao now. I'm going to pursue him. So take yourself somewhere far away and stay there. His eyes went wide. But instead of accepting reality, his brain performed another Olympic-level mental gymnastics routine. She was obviously lying to provoke him. He smoothed his shirt like he was about to deliver a speech. Shu Yuan, everyone in the compound knows Commander Lu already has a fiancée. She's a doctor with a great family background, superior to you in every way. Why would he choose an ugly nobody like you over her? The word, ugly, landed in Lu Xiao's ears like a slap. His expression went ice cold. Zhou Cheng, has your training been too easy lately? You seem to have a lot of free time to loiter outside my door and run your mouth. Your afternoon training is doubled. Zhou Cheng spluttered. Commander, I wasn't trying to bother you. I was just helping Shu Yuan understand her place. Tripled. But Commander, quadrupled. Zhou Cheng clamped his mouth shut, shot me a death glare, and fled. The door was barely closed before the atmosphere shifted. I spooned another wonton into Lu Xiao's mouth, but my voice came out small and flat. Why didn't you ever tell me you have a fiancé? If she was as perfect as Zhou Cheng described, a doctor, good family, everything, then Lu Xiao would obviously marry her when he recovered. Not me. I was just warming the seat. The thought hit me like a punch to the gut. Was I out here catching feelings and building a future that was already promised to someone else? Lu Xiao sensed my mood shift immediately. He actually explained himself, which, for a man of 4 words per day, was basically an emotional speech. The engagement was arranged by my family. And, when you recover, are you marrying her? Originally, yes. They'd planned to wed after his last mission. But after he went blind and lost the use of his legs, she'd postponed the wedding. He could read between the lines. She didn't want to marry a cripple. So he'd called it off himself. Not many people knew about the broken engagement. But Lu Xiao would set the record straight eventually. I won't marry her. We called off the engagement a month ago. The cloud over my heart evaporated instantly. Sunshine returned. Berçant. She agreed. She agreed. So now you're fiancé-less and all alone. What if I took the position? I promise I'll never break off our engagement. I won't abandon you no matter what. I mean, wasn't I basically already his fiancé? He said he'd take responsibility. I was just making it official. Whatever you want, that's a yes. I was now the self-appointed fiancé of Commander Lu Xiao. I celebrated by feeding him more wontons with extra enthusiasm. He got confused mid-chew. Stop feeding me. I'm done. He hadn't even eaten 20. 20. A grown military man. I pushed another wonton to his lips. An adult male needs at least 25 to 30 wontons minimum. You haven't hit 20.
Lu Xiao.
Are you deliberately eating less so you don't have to use the bathroom as often? His expression flickered. Busted. He wanted to deny it, but couldn't find the words. So, he just sat there silently accepting the wontons I kept putting in his mouth. My heart broke a little more. I set down the spoon and spoke gently. Lu Xiao, from now on, eat whatever you want as much as you want. When you need the bathroom, call me. And if you can't make it in time, that's okay. I'll clean up. I'll wash everything. And I will never tell a single soul. So please, stop starving yourself. He didn't open his mouth for the next wonton. Instead, he asked quietly, you wouldn't think it's disgusting? It wasn't like he chose this. His legs didn't work. If he could walk, none of this would be an issue. Not even a little. I'd feel sorry for you. I understand how embarrassing it must be, and I'd never judge you for it. Something shifted behind his sightless eyes. Even his own parents had shown disgust when it happened. But this woman, this loud, shameless, wonton-feeding woman, said she'd feel sorry for him. That she'd understand.
Shu Yuan.
Maybe you don't find it disgusting now, but over time you will. So think carefully about being with me. Don't make a reckless decision just to provoke Zhou Cheng. I was not doing this to provoke anyone. I wanted Lu Xiao because I wanted Luxio. Can we please stop mentioning Zhou Cheng? His name doesn't deserve to come out of your mouth. It dirties it. That was the end of that conversation. We finished eating in peace. After lunch, we wrapped the remaining wontons together and went to our respective rooms for a nap. I slept like a rock until 4 o'clock, then went to check on Lu Xiao. He was already in his wheelchair, working. I poured him a glass of water, spirit spring water, obviously, and set it in front of him. Drink something. I'll clean your room and then start dinner. I wiped down every surface, swept the floor, and got everything spotless. Then I noticed his water was untouched. He'd been so focused on work he forgot to drink. So I picked up the glass, took a sip myself, and transferred the water into his mouth. Lip to lip. His atoms apple-bobbed. His pupils dilated. Lu Xiao, I told you to drink water. You didn't listen. So I had to use my own method. Health first. Work second. You could just remind me again. You don't have to feed me mouth to mouth. I did remind you. You ignored me. New rule. If I tell you once and you don't listen, I kiss you. He sat there processing the fact that this woman had weaponized kissing as a compliance tool. After some thought, he made one more attempt at establishing boundaries. Until we have an official marriage certificate, no more kissing. It's bad for your reputation. Okay, I said in the most unconvincing tone in human history, and went to cook dinner. Lu Xiao had no idea whether I'd actually listened. I had not. That night, after dinner and baths, Lu Xiao settled into bed.
Peace. Quiet.
Finally. Then I appeared in his doorway, hugging my pillow. I walked over, lay down next to him, and announced, starting tonight, I'm sleeping here. That way if you need the bathroom at night, you can wake me up immediately. No more accidents. His brain stalled.
Shu Yuan.
Men and women who aren't married should not share a bed. Go back to your room. I placed my pillow between us like a demilitarized zone.
See?
We can't even touch each other.
Tutali prupe.
Now go to sleep. I have to go to town early tomorrow. I closed my eyes and started breathing evenly. Lu Xiao lay there, rigid as a plank, listening to this woman fall asleep beside him like it was the most natural thing in the world. He had never, in his entire life, met a woman this aggressively forward. Sleep did not come easily for him that night. Next morning after breakfast, I grabbed my pills and headed to the hospital entrance for another day of sales. But when I arrived, a doctor was standing outside, lecturing my waiting customers. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been scammed by a quack. There is no medicine in the world that cures all diseases in 6 pills. Your conditions require lifelong treatment. Stop waiting for that fraud and come back inside the hospital. A quack? I marched right up to him and got in his face. You've never even tried my medicine. So what gives you the right to call it useless? The doctor, his name was Ji Feng, looked me up and down like I was a cockroach in his soup. So you're the fraud selling fake medicine? Excuse me?
Fraud?
Like I said, you haven't even tried my medicine. What gives you the right to call me a scammer? He crossed his arms with the confidence of a man who'd memorized a textbook. Because you claim your pills cure tuberculosis and cancer. Everyone knows these diseases have no cure. We can only manage symptoms with medication. But you tell my patients that 6 little pills will make them healthy? If that's not a scam, what is? Okay, when he put it like that, I could see how it sounded sketchy. But his medicine couldn't do what my spirit spring water could. Just because he couldn't cure it didn't mean I couldn't. Sir, you're right that current medicine can't cure those diseases. But mine can. If you don't believe me, buy a few pills and test them. 6 pills, full cure. Money back guarantee, he scoffed. You finished scamming patients and now you're trying to scam a doctor? Do I look stupid enough to fall for this? Before I could fire back, a nurse came sprinting out of the hospital screaming, Dr. Ji, come quick. Your patient's heart just stopped. Ji Feng's face went white. He bolted inside. And I ran right after him. This was my chance to prove myself. When I got to the room, Ji Feng was frantically working on the patient. Prepare the defibrillator. Now he and the nurses were struggling. The patient wasn't responding. Everyone was panicking. So I walked right up, popped a pill into the dying man's mouth, and stepped back. Ji Feng's eyes nearly exploded out of his skull. What are you doing? Beep.
Beep. Beep.
The heart monitor stabilized. Normal rhythm. Just like that. Every person in that room turned to stare at me simultaneously. I dusted off my hands casually. Told you my medicine works. But nobody believed me. Well, do you believe me now? I just restarted a dying man's heart with 1 pill, Ji Feng, and the nurses were frozen in shock. This patient had heart failure. He needed a transplant to survive. They'd been keeping him alive with drugs and oxygen, barely hanging on. And I just fixed his heartbeat with a single pill.
So,
who's paying for that pill? 1 yuan, please. Ji Feng stared at me for a long moment, then pulled out 6 yuan. You said 6 pills cure anything?
Fine.
I'm buying 5 more. Let's see if your magic beans can actually cure heart failure. I took the money and handed over the pills. 1 every 3 days. 18 days total. After that, his heart will be pumping like a drum. Guaranteed. He pocketed the pills with a warning. If these don't work, I'm calling the police and having you thrown in prison for fraud. I'm an honest businesswoman. I never cheat anyone. You won't get that chance. I turned to leave. He called after me. What's your name? Shu Yuan. He filed that away. I could tell he was going to be watching that patient like a hawk for the next 18 days. Outside the room, my waiting customers mobbed me. Miss Shu, that was incredible. You saved a man's life. Give me more pills. I reached into my bag. Whatever I had left, gone in seconds. Sold out again. The ones who missed out were practically in tears. Miss Shu, when will you have more? We need pills. Can you make more next time? Miss Shu, Miss S. Shu. I was surrounded on all sides. I held up my hands.
I'll come every day from now on.
60 to 70 pills on average, maybe 100 on good days, maybe 20 on slow days. Come to the hospital entrance tomorrow and check. Now if you'll excuse me, I need to go home and make more. They let me go, and I headed out. Behind me, the hospital director watched from his window, frowning deeply. So that's why we lost half our patients. Because of that girl. Find out what she's selling. Now. Yes, director. Right away. Hospital politics. I'd deal with that later. At the herbal medicine shop, the owner raised an eyebrow when I walked in. You're here again? You come every other day. How many sick people do you have at home? Oh no, my family's fine. I buy herbs to make medicine that I sell for profit. He laughed. You're so young and you're already making and selling medicine? Do you have a medical license? Because without one, your pills are technically illegal. If someone has a bad reaction, you're going to jail. A medical license.
Right.
I had one in the 22nd century. In this century? Absolutely not. Could I take the exam? Maybe. But it probably required paperwork, school transcripts, credentials. The original Shu Yuan had none of those things. She was an orphan who'd never gone to school. Headache. Massive headache. Sir, do you know how to get a medical license? He thought about it. Medical students can take the exam when they graduate. But if you're not a medical student, you'd need someone with connections to recommend you to a school for testing. Saves a lot of time. Someone with connections. Lu Xiao was literally a military commander. That was about as connected as you could get. But would he agree to help me? He still didn't believe in my medical skills. Asking him to recommend me for a doctor's license might be a tough sell. Whatever. One problem at a time. I thanked the shop owner, hauled my enormous bag of herbs to the market, picked up 3 pounds of gorgeous pork belly and some cabbage, and headed home. Tonight's menu: grilled meat. Lu Xiao needed protein, and I was going to stuff him full of it whether he liked it or not. I came home from the market loaded down with groceries, practically skipping with joy. The military wives spotted me from their balconies like a flock of hawks tracking prey. Shu Yuan, you buy meat every day? You're going to bankrupt Commander Lu. His salary isn't unlimited, you know. What's his future wife going to spend if you eat through everything now? Be reasonable. Meat once or twice a month is plenty. Who eats it every day? I wasn't eating their meat. Why were they so worked up? Classic sour grapes. I flashed them my most annoying smile. Ladies, Commander Lu told me to buy this. He approved the daily meat budget. So, I'm afraid cutting back to once a month isn't going to work because I get to eat meat every single day. I sauntered off with my bags while they practically combusted with jealousy behind me. She's so lucky. Divorced Zhou Cheng and landed a gig with a commander. She's honestly living better now than she ever did with Zhou Cheng. Is it just me, or does she look less ugly than before? Like she's filled out a little. You're right. She used to be all yellow and creepy with hair covering her eyes. Now she actually looks kind of okay. I guess eating meat every day really does make you prettier. Now I want to be the commander's caretaker too. Free meat and a salary? Sign me up. I didn't hear any of this. I was already inside, unloading my haul.
Lu Xiao.
I got pork belly and cabbage. How about Korean-style grilled meat for lunch? Grilled meat. He perked up slightly. How do you grill it? Normally, you need a grill pan, which we don't have. So I'll sear the meat in a regular pan, and we'll eat it wrap-style with cabbage. Let me prep the meat, wash the veggies, mix the sauces, and we'll be eating in no time. He wheeled himself closer to the kitchen. Is there anything I can do? Peel garlic. He paused. Why is it always garlic and scallions? Before he could protest further, I dumped a head of garlic and a bunch of scallions right into his lap. Peel and trim. Chop chop. He looked down at his lap, sighed quietly, and got to work. By now he was probably the world's most overqualified garlic peeling specialist. The sound of meat hitting the hot pan filled the kitchen. The smell was absolutely divine. Oh my God, that smells incredible. I kept flipping and transferring cooked pieces into a serving bowl until everything was done. I set it all up on the coffee table with sauces, cabbage leaves, scallion strips, and garlic slices. Lu Xiao, can you handle spicy food? Not too spicy. Got it, mild version for you. I grabbed a cabbage leaf, placed a piece of meat on it, added a dab of sauce, some scallion, a garlic slice, rolled it into a neat little bundle, and popped it into his mouth. How is it? He chewed. The combination of crunchy fresh cabbage, smoky meat, sharp garlic, and tangy sauce all hit at once. His eyebrows lifted. Delicious. And this way of eating is very interesting. How did you come up with it? Oh, I saw someone else eat it this way and thought it was fun, so I learned it. Made it specially for you. Now, eat more, you need to put on weight. Was he really that thin?
Yes.
Yes, he was. I kept wrapping and feeding him until he physically could not accept another bite. Full, he nodded. Full. Good. Rest up, I'll go brew your medicine. Meanwhile, upstairs, Zhou Cheng was eating cafeteria food with Bai Wei and still thinking about me. The man couldn't help himself. That Shu Yuan. Why does she always know exactly how to make me angry? Bai Wei's chopsticks froze. Her mood instantly soured. Cheng, have you noticed that you talk about Shu Yuan more now than when you were actually married to her? Do you regret divorcing her? Zhou Cheng almost choked. I married her because she blackmailed me with a life debt. I never had feelings for her. The only person I've ever loved is you, Wei Wei. Then why do you keep bringing her up? The name, Shu Yuan, was starting to make Bai Wei physically ill. Zhou Cheng paused, confused by his own behavior. I only mention her because she keeps saying outrageous things to get my attention. It makes me angry. What did she say? He put down his chopsticks with theatrical disgust. She said she doesn't like me anymore. That she's going to pursue Commander Lu. Can you believe it? Have you seen her face? As if Commander Lu would ever want her. Bai Wei went quiet. Honestly, she thought Shu Yuan and Lu Xiao were a perfect match. One was ugly, the other was blind and crippled. Made in heaven, really. Cheng, if Shu Yuan wants to chase Commander Lu, shouldn't you be happy? Why are you upset? I'm not upset. I just think her methods of getting my attention are pathetic and disgusting. And she has no right to have designs on Commander Lu. Whether I deserved, Lu Xiao wasn't Zhou Cheng's call. It was Lu Xiao's. And honestly, in Lu Xiao's condition, having anyone interested in him was a blessing. Beggars can't be choosers. Bai Wei thought about it from a different angle. If Shu Yuan ended up with Lu Xiao, that meant Zhou Cheng would be all hers.
Permanently.
No competition, actually. Shu Yuan and Lu Xiao together sounded great. She was fully on board. And furthermore, meanwhile, upstairs, Bai Wei was having a brilliant idea. If Shu Yuan needed help chasing Lu Xiao, she'd gladly assist. Anything to keep me permanently attached to someone else and far away from Zhou Cheng. Little did she know I needed zero help in that department. I was feeding Lu Xiao his medicine, and the man was not having it today. This stuff got more bitter with every dose. He was practically gagging. Since he wouldn't drink it willingly, I took the executive route. Sip, kiss, transfer. Mouth-to-mouth delivery service, open for business. Lu Xiao, I know it's awful, but bitter medicine works the best. I forgot to bring candy today, so just drink lots of water after, and the taste will fade. I finished feeding him the full dose, my own mouth tasting like I'd licked a tree, rinsed out, and brought him a cup of spirit spring water. Better. He coughed twice and grunted. I grabbed his wrist and checked his pulse. Much steadier than before. His body was healing. Time for a nap. I pressed him down onto the bed. He lay there, eyes open out of habit, scanning the room, and then he froze. Near the window, he could see
light.
Faint, blurry, but unmistakably light. His eyes widened. He tried to focus, tried to hold on to it, and then it vanished. Darkness again. He closed his eyes, disappointed. Probably just his imagination. But it wasn't. I sat beside him until he fell asleep, then went to make more pills. At 3 o'clock, Lu Xiao woke up and opened his eyes. This time, the light didn't disappear. Everything was blurry and hazy, like looking through frosted glass, but he could see. He could see light. He sat bolt upright and waved his hand in front of his face. He couldn't make out details, but he could see the movement. Shu Yuan. I thought something was wrong and sprinted in.
What?
What happened? I can see light. His voice was shaking with excitement. This man who had accepted permanent blindness, whose doctors had told him the blood clot on his optic nerve was inoperable, who had given up all hope, could suddenly see again after a few days of my medicine. Shu Yuan, tell me, when will I fully recover? Based on your current progress? 2 days. 2 days. He was so thrilled he could barely form sentences. Really? Just 2 more days. Really? For the first time since I'd met him, Lu Xiao smiled. A real, genuine, full-face smile. And oh my God, that smile. It could end wars. It could cure diseases on its own. It was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen in 2 centuries of living.
Wait.
If his eyes recovered in 2 days, he'd be able to see my face. I bolted to the bathroom mirror, like my hair was on fire. Okay. Assessment time. Freckles, mostly faded. Skin, significantly lighter, no longer looking like a dried-out potato. Still too thin, but not scary thin anymore. Overall verdict, not ugly. Actually kind of pretty. By the time Lu Xiao's vision fully returned, the freckles should be completely gone, and my skin would be even fairer. I exhaled in massive relief, clutching my chest. Thank God for spirit spring water. If Lu Xiao's first clear sight of me was the old face, he'd probably fire me and cancel the engagement. I fixed my hair, confirmed I looked presentable, and went back to sit with him. What do you want for dinner tonight? I'll make whatever you like. His mood was radiant. Whatever you make, I'll eat. We still have leftover wontons from yesterday. Let's finish those before they go bad. Sure, but boiled wontons again? Boring. Tonight, I was making pan-fried wontons. Crispy on the bottom, juicy on the inside. I laid them in a lightly oiled pan and let them sizzle. The smell was so incredible that every military wife in the building stuck her head out like a meerkat. They spotted Lu Xiao wheeling himself to the doorway and scrambled back inside. His vision was still blurry, but he could see shadows now. He looked toward the door. Who's there? The wives squeaked nervously. Just us, Commander. We were passing by and wanted to make sure you were okay. I appreciate the concern. I'm fine. They fled, and Lu Xiao sat in the doorway, looking at the light coming through the entrance, waving his hand back and forth, just enjoying the simple miracle of seeing anything at all. I brought out the pan-fried wontons. Dinner's ready. Isn't it a bit early? When the food's done, we eat. And if you're hungry later tonight, I'll make you a midnight snack. I don't eat after 8. If you're hungry, make something for yourself. Don't worry about me. I didn't even hesitate. You're my fiancé. If I don't take care of you, who will? His ears turned crimson so fast it was like someone pressed a button. Just eat. I caught the blush and got up to close the front door so nobody could see. Then I sat back down right next to him. Are you blushing? And no, stuttering. He was stuttering, and he still wouldn't admit it. I let it go, and we ate together in cozy silence. Then the phone rang. I picked it up. Hello? A deep, commanding male voice. I need to speak to Lu Xiao. I handed over the receiver. Someone for you. Lu Xiao listened. His father's voice came through, cold and businesslike. Your grandfather's 80th birthday is tomorrow. He wants you there. I'll send a car to pick you up. Click. He hung up without waiting for a response. Lu Xiao gripped the phone, his mood darkening like storm clouds rolling in. I'd heard every word of Lu Xiao's father on the phone. Cold, commanding, zero warmth. Whatever their relationship was, it wasn't good. I put the receiver back and said gently, if you don't want to go, don't go. He swallowed whatever bitterness was rising in his throat. It's an elder's birthday. I have to show up. Then I'm coming with you. And if you're miserable, I'll sneak you out. Something flickered in his expression. Nobody had cared whether he was happy or miserable in a very long time. Having someone offer to be his escape plan was new. Okay, he ate his wontons in silence after that. They were delicious, but tonight everything tasted like nothing to him. After his bath, he went to bed early. I lay down beside him, and we slept. The next morning, Lu Xiao's father sent a car at the crack of dawn. I threw on my best clothes, which were still pretty terrible by rich people's standards, and we rode together to the Lu family's traditional courtyard home. This wasn't just any neighborhood. This place was where the big shots lived, generals, officials, leaders. Lu Xiao's grandfather, Old Master Su, used to be the top administrator of the entire military district hospital. Serious connections. The courtyard was packed with important people for his 80th birthday celebration. The moment Lu Xiao's wheelchair rolled out of the car, every head turned. And then the whispers started. That's Su's eldest grandson? The one who lost his eyes and legs on a mission? He'll be stuck in that wheelchair forever, completely useless now. No wonder the Qin family's daughter broke off their engagement. She's already with his younger brother, Lu Zhan. Handsome face, but what good is it when you're a cripple? He'll die alone. My blood boiled. I stepped forward and snapped. If you've got nothing nice to say, keep your mouths shut. Lu Xiao has me. He's not dying alone. Every eye shifted to me. The judgments came fast. This girl is dark-skinned, dressed in rags. Clearly not from a good family. Is she the best Lu Xiao could find? Well, in his condition, what did you expect? Another girl like the Qin family's daughter? I was seeing red. Dark-skinned? I've been washing my face with spirit spring water for days. I was practically glowing compared to last week. I glared at the gossips. Every single one of you must have eaten a heaping pile of dog crap for breakfast, because your mouths stink, one man sputtered. How can a young lady be so vulgar? Where did Lu Xiao even find you? Are you a highway? Because you sure like to be wide open about other people's business. You. I shoved past them, pushing Lu Xiao's wheelchair through the crowd. As we passed, I couldn't resist one parting shot. You can't even finish a sentence properly, so maybe stop flapping those jaws behind people's backs. Annoying. Lu Xiao sat quietly in his chair. He was probably thinking, she just offended every powerful person in this courtyard to defend me. Was it worth it?
Yes.
Yes, it was. Inside, old Master Su was sitting in the main hall chatting with friends. One of them, a doctor, was making his pitch. Old Su, I heard all of Lu Xiao's previous surgeries failed. The military hospital just got new equipment. Let me try one more time. Even if there's only a 1% chance of success, don't let him give up. 1%. 1%. I couldn't keep my mouth shut. A derisive, TCH, escaped my lips. A doctor whose best offer is a 1% success rate. And you're still practicing medicine? Is the military hospital that desperate for staff? Because hiring you seems like they're just filling a seat with a warm body. The man Dr. Qin, father of Lu Xiao's ex-fiancé, because of course, turned purple. Who is this girl? How dare she speak to me like that? What did I say that's wrong? A competent surgeon has at least a 50% success rate. You're offering 1%. At that point, you're not performing surgery. You're playing Russian roulette with someone's legs. He tried to defend himself. Lu Xiao's tendons are completely severed. With current medical technology, a cure is nearly impossible. 1% is actually impressive. Other doctors couldn't even offer that. I crossed my arms and dropped the bomb. Who says nobody else can give him better odds? If you let me treat him, I'll have him walking, no, running, within 1 month. No surgery required. Here was the real play. On the car ride over, I'd asked Lu Xiao about his grandfather's background. Former head of the military hospital equals connections to medical licensing equals my ticket to a doctor's certificate. If I could impress old Master Su enough, he could help me get certified. And I wasn't going to ask Lu Xiao for this. I wanted our relationship to stay pure, not transactional. The room erupted. This girl is ugly and delusional. I am not ugly anymore. Have people not noticed? Dr. Qin is one of the most famous surgeons in the military district. If he can't do it, how could SHE? She's just trying to show off. Then some genius announced, if she can really fix Lu Xiao's legs in 1 month, I'll get on my knees and call her me too. I looked at these middle-aged men who were old enough to be my father and wrinkled my nose. You're all practically my dad's age. Please do not call me mom. I'm worried it'll shorten my lifespan. Without missing a beat, they pivoted. Fine then, if you fix his legs, we'll call you dad. But what? Were these old men seriously trying to trick me into adopting them as my dads? Who asked for that? I rolled my eyes and got down to business. I don't need any of you as my father. But if I cure Lu Xiao's legs, I want to ask old Master Su for one favor. The old man noticed me staring directly at him. Sharp guy. What kind of favor? I'll tell you after I fix his legs. For now, just tell me, do we have a deal? If this girl could actually heal his grandson's legs, one little favor was nothing. Deal. Before I could even say thank you, Dr. Qin butted in. Hold on, girl. Old Master Su agreed to your terms if you succeed. But what happens when you fail? When? Not if. The confidence this man had in my failure was almost impressive. But fine, I'd play along. If I can't cure Lu Xiao's legs in 1 month, I'll owe old Master Su a favor in return. He can ask me for anything, Dr. Qin sneered. A girl who has nothing to her name, what could you possibly offer? Maybe I had nothing now, but the future was a different story. This man needed to stop underestimating me. Whatever favor old Master Su wants from me is between him and me. It's none of your business, uncle. And honestly, I'd love to see how you plan to fix legs that you've already butchered with 3 failed surgeries. Lu Xiao's body is a mess because of your so-called medical expertise. We glared at each other with equal disgust. It was mutual hatred at first sight. Lu Xiao, sitting quietly through all of this, finally spoke to his grandfather. Grandfather, happy birthday. He hadn't been able to prepare a gift. He couldn't see, couldn't walk, couldn't go shopping. And, of course, the vultures noticed. He's a military commander, and he shows up empty-handed to his own grandfather's birthday. Didn't his younger brother Lu Xiao bring an expensive jade stone? Such beautiful jade, too. Must have cost a fortune. Same family, completely different levels of class. Lu Xiao had a red envelope in his pocket, but after hearing all that, he didn't know if cash would just invite more mockery. I saw the humiliation on his face and stepped in front of him. Again. Who says he didn't bring a gift? He spent a fortune on 6 healing pills for his grandfather. Each pill is worth 1,000 yuan. 6 pills, 6,000 total. Old Master Su, if you ever feel unwell, pop one of these and you'll feel better instantly. Try one right now if you don't believe me. I pulled 6 of my best pills from my bag and presented them with both hands. The room buzzed. 1,000 yuan per pill? And who gives medicine as a birthday gift? How morbid. Old Master Su studied me for a moment, then accepted the pills. He'd been in medicine his entire career and had never heard of any healing pill. He didn't believe a word I said, but it was his grandson's gift, so he'd keep it. Xiao has quite the confidence these days, he said diplomatically. Lu Xiao sat there, visibly uncomfortable. I wanted to strangle every person in that courtyard. These people were like professional gossipers with government salaries. Everything needed a comment. I grabbed Lu Xiao's wheelchair handles and steered him to the back garden where it was quiet. He'd been silent and gloomy since we arrived. I crouched in front of him. Lu Xiao, don't let those people get to you. They have nothing better to do than run their mouths. In my eyes, you're incredible. And you don't need to compare yourself to your brother. Nobody compares to you. His younger brother Lu Xiao had always been the golden child, sweet-talking, raised by their parents, beloved by everyone. While Lu Xiao grew up with his grandparents, distant and alone. But he stopped himself from going down that path. His grandparents had loved him. That was enough. He looked toward some flowers nearby. At first, blurry shapes. Then, slowly, the color sharpened. Petals came into focus.
Leaves. Stems.
His breath caught.
Shu Yuan.
I can see. Really? I held up 2 fingers in front of his face. How many? 2. He could actually see.
Clear as day.
I was genuinely, completely, overwhelmingly happy for him. If your eyes are healed, your legs aren't far behind. I crouched in front of him, grinning the biggest, sunniest smile I had. The kind of smile that made everything feel warm and bright. Everyone in that courtyard had called me ugly. But Lu Xiao, looking at me clearly for the very first time, thought the opposite. She was beautiful. A little too skinny, maybe, but beautiful. He kept staring at my face without blinking. I touched my own cheek nervously. Why are you staring? Did my ugliness scare you? Because I'm pretty sure I'm not ugly anymore. You're beautiful. My face went scarlet. He, the man of 4 words per day, the king of silence, the emperor of emotional constipation, just called me beautiful?
Lu Xiao.
You have excellent taste. I am beautiful. And once I gain a little weight and my skin gets even lighter, I'll be stunning. Marrying me is the best deal you'll ever get. Not a bad deal at all. With nobody around, I leaned in and stole a quick kiss. Lu Xiao, I just did a taste test. Confirmed. Your lips really are sweet. He stared at me. Some things about Shu Yuan would never change. And honestly,
he was starting to be okay with that.
Shu Yuan, there are people here. You can't just kiss me. What if someone saw? What did I care what other people thought? As long as I enjoyed the kiss, mission accomplished. I told you I did it sneakily. Nobody saw. Relax. He looked genuinely stressed about my reputation.
Sweet man.
Terrible priorities, but sweet. No more sneaky kisses. Fine, I said in the tone of someone who absolutely did not mean it. I won't kiss you sneakily anymore. I do it out in the open instead. He seemed satisfied with my obedience and took me on a little tour of the family's back garden. Peaceful. Quiet. Just us and the flowers. Meanwhile, in the main hall, chaos erupted. One of the guests' wives suddenly collapsed with an epileptic seizure, full body convulsions, the works. Everyone panicked and called for Dr.
Qin.
He rushed over, doing his doctor thing.
Quick.
Get something in her mouth so she doesn't bite her tongue. The husband was frantic. Dr. Qin, she's been taking your medicine every day. Why is she still having seizures? Is your prescription wrong? Dr. Qin got defensive immediately. Epilepsy can still flare up even with medication. That's completely normal. My prescription is fine. If you don't believe me, get a second opinion. The husband, desperate, suddenly remembered something. He ran to Old Master Su. Old Master Su, Lu Xiao gave you those healing pills, right? My wife is suffering. Could she try one? If it works on her, you'll know they're safe for you too, smart man. Old Master Su saw the logic and handed over a pill. The husband fed it to his seizing wife. The pill dissolved instantly on her tongue. No swallowing needed. Dr. Qin scoffed from the sideline. You're feeding her some mysterious black pill with unknown ingredients? What if something goes wrong? The words had barely left his mouth when the woman stopped seizing.
Completely.
Her color went from ghostly white to healthy pink in seconds. The room went silent, then exploded. That pill is magic. It stopped the seizure instantly. Look at her face. She looks healthy. The color is back. I didn't believe it before, but now I've seen it. It's expensive, but wow, it actually works. Then came the feeding frenzy. Old Master Su. Sell me one. I'll pay whatever you want. Just one pill, please. Old Master Su. The old man clutched his remaining 5 pills like they were made of diamond and shoved them deep into his pocket. These are a birthday gift for my grandson Lu Xiao. If I sold them, how heartbroken would he be? Not for sale. Denied by the old man, the guests stampeded to the back garden to find Lu Xiao. Commander Lu. There you are. We've been looking everywhere. Commander, those healing pills are amazing. Where did you buy them? Please tell us. We'll be forever grateful. I watched these exact same people who'd been trash-talking Lu Xiao 5 minutes ago suddenly grovel at his feet, and the disgust on my face could have peeled paint. Oh, now you're interested? After calling him a cripple and a waste? After mocking his gift? But then my business brain kicked in. If they wanted pills, and they had money, and I had pills. My lips curled into a smile. I reached into my bag and pulled out a handful of pills. As it happens, I have more healing pills right here. You want them? 1,000 yuan each. Interested? Lu Xiao stared at me. Where did I get all those pills? The guests didn't hesitate.
Yes.
Give me one. Me too. Money came flying at me. I was handing out pills with one hand and stacking cash with the other. The pile of bills in my palm grew thicker and thicker.
So much
money. So much money. With this kind of capital, making more money would be child's play. After the buying frenzy died down and everyone scattered, Lu Xiao turned to me with a bewildered expression. Where did these healing pills come from? I made them. You can make medicine. Yep, I launched into my well-rehearsed backstory. When I was wandering around as a kid, I met all kind of people. One of them was a genius who was amazing at medicine and pharmaceutical manufacturing. He taught me everything. I memorized it all, and eventually created the healing pill to make money. Pretty impressive for your future wife, huh? The word, wife, hit him like a brick. His expression froze. His ears lit up like signal flares. He recovered just enough to voice a practical concern. These pills don't have a production license number. If you keep selling them without approval and someone reports you for selling counterfeit drugs, you could go to prison. That's why I'm only selling what I have on hand. After this batch, I'm stopping until I get my medical license. Then I'll sell them officially. You're going to get a medical license? He genuinely hadn't expected this. You said you never went to school. How are you planning to take the exam? I told him everything, no secrets, no games. After I cure your legs, I'll ask your grandfather for a spot in the licensing exam. That's the favor I want from him. So that was my deal with the old man. Fix Lu Xiao's legs, get an exam slot. The pieces clicked into place. He frowned slightly. If you want a medical license, why not ask me? I have connections to get you into a school for the exam too, because I don't want to use you. I want our relationship to be pure. I want you to know that I like you for you, not your rank, not your connections, not your family name.
Just you.
That's why I'd rather ask your grandfather than ask you. He went quiet. For maybe the first time in his life, someone wanted nothing from him, just wanted to be with him. Lu Xiao was still trying to figure me out. What did he have besides his military rank that was worth liking? He was blind, well, not anymore, but he didn't know I knew that was temporary. His legs didn't work, and he was estranged from his entire family. Why would I choose a broken man over a perfectly healthy one? Because he was an idiot who couldn't see his own worth. That's why he needed me. Young master, dinner is served, the family's housekeeper announced. We went back to the main hall for the birthday banquet. And that's when I discovered a new level of rage I didn't know I possessed. Because Lu Xiao's legs didn't work and he couldn't sit at the dining table properly, his parents didn't get him a different chair. They didn't rearrange seating. They didn't make any accommodation. Instead, they stuck their eldest son in the kitchen, alone, eating leftovers, while his brother and everyone else sat at the grand table like a happy family. I snatched the bowl and chopsticks out of Lu Xiao's hands and threw them aside. This family can't even give you basic respect. We're leaving. Now, he was their firstborn. There were other chairs right there. It would have taken 30 seconds to set up a spot for him at the table. But no, they shoved him in the kitchen like an unwanted houseguest. Absolutely not. We weren't eating a single grain of their leftover rice. I grabbed his wheelchair and marched toward the exit. His mother spotted us and shouted, "That caretaker has some nerve. Who told you to take Lu Xiao away? Get back here." I didn't even turn around. "You're not my mother. Why would I listen to you?" Humph. I kept walking. Behind me, Madame Lu was practically steaming from both ears. This caretaker is out of control. I'm firing her and getting someone obedient. Lu Xiao's younger brother, Lu Zhan, came downstairs with a woman, Qinling, the ex-fiancée, and noticed his brother was gone. "Mom, where's big brother?" "Don't even ask." His caretaker dragged him away. "Just sit down and eat, you and Ling Ling." Lu Zhan wanted to go after Lu Xiao, but Qinling stopped him with a delicate hand on his arm. "Zhan, he probably left because it's awkward seeing you and me together. Just let him go." Lu Zhan did feel guilty. After all, he'd stolen his own brother's fiancée.
Yeah.
Let that sink in. The brother took the girl. While Lu Xiao was lying in a hospital bed, blind and crippled from a mission that served their country. That's the family he came from. I pushed Lu Xiao through the streets under the blazing midday sun. Sweat was pouring down both our faces. When I noticed him drenched, guilt hit me like a truck.
I'm sorry, Lu Xiao.
I shouldn't have stormed out like that without getting the driver. Now you're stuck out here roasting. He was quiet for a moment. If his parents truly cared, they'd send the car after him. But they'd never cared before. No car was coming. He'd grown used to their favoritism, used to being invisible, used to not mattering. But then there was me, this loud, impulsive woman who'd just blown up his grandfather's birthday party, insulted his mother, and dragged him into the scorching sun. All because she couldn't stand seeing him disrespected. Nobody had ever cared whether he was hurt or happy. Until her. "I haven't been outside in the sun for a long time," he said softly. "It's actually nice." My heart cracked, but I wasn't going to let him overheat from niceness. I spotted an ice cream vendor and wheeled him over. 2 popsicles purchased. "Let's cool down first, then I'm taking you somewhere for a proper meal. I should pay. You helped me earn all that money today. This lunch is on me." "Don't argue." We ate our popsicles side by side, then found a little restaurant nearby. I ordered a pile of meat dishes and we ate together, talking and laughing like the horrible morning had never happened. "Eat more, Lu Xiao." He picked up some meat with his chopsticks and placed it in my bowl. "You too, The scene was so warm and cozy that if someone had walked by, they'd have thought we were newlyweds. Not a freshly divorced woman and a wheelchair-bound commander eating lunch at a cheap restaurant. After the meal, we took the bus home. The driver helped me get Lu Xiao and his wheelchair on and off, which saved my arms from falling off. We arrived back at the compound during nap time. Everything was dead quiet except for the cicadas screaming in the trees. Inside, I poured him a glass of spirit spring water. Drink this so you don't get heatstroke. Then we're napping. He caught that word. Was I really planning to keep sharing his bed? Shu Yuan, you don't have to sleep in my room just to take care of me. I can manage alone. Go rest in your own room. I leaned down until my face was right in front of his and said with perfect clarity, Lu Xiao, I'm not sleeping in your room just to take care of you. Maybe I'm sleeping there because I want to sleep next to you. He had no response. None whatsoever. Lu Xiao's face went full tomato. He looked away like the wall was suddenly the most fascinating thing in the room. Shu Yuan, can you please be serious?
We're not even married yet.
Sleeping together isn't appropriate. I reached out, cupped his face in both hands, and turned him back to look at me. Well, if that's the issue, why don't we just get our marriage certificate first and have the wedding later? Then sleeping together is totally official. His brain short-circuited. You want to marry me while my legs are still broken? Obviously, once we were legally married, I could tease him as much as I wanted with zero guilt. The perfect arrangement. He actually thought about it seriously. I'll agree to getting the certificate. But we have to keep it secret for now. He was right.
Ide just divorța Zhou.
If the compound wives found out I'd immediately married their commander, they'd assume I'd been cheating the whole time. The gossip tsunami would drown me.
Deal.
Secret marriage it is. He wheeled himself inside. I'll prepare the marriage application paperwork. Even as the highest-ranking officer on base, he still needed approval from his superiors to marry. They'd have to investigate my background and clear me first. It might take about 2 weeks for approval. 2 weeks? I'd expected to just walk in and sign papers. Military bureaucracy was annoying, but manageable. 2 weeks wasn't that long.
Fine.
You handle the paperwork. And in the meantime, we can still sleep in the same room. Shu Yuan, I want us to maintain a normal distance until we have the certificate. Normal distance? We hadn't even done the final thing yet. By my standards, we were practically monks. Okay, I promise, no going all the way until our wedding night. I'll save our first time for something special. His face went through several shades of red I didn't know existed. That's not what I meant by normal distance. I meant no kissing. No sleeping together. That's normal distance. You what? I blinked at him and unleashed my sweetest, most devastating smile. He completely lost his train of thought. His mouth opened, closed, opened again, and then was saved by the most unwelcome sound in the universe. Shu Yuan, by Wei's voice. From outside. My face curdled instantly. What does this woman want? I went to the door. Bai Wei was standing there holding a bundle of something. I didn't bother with pleasantries. Talk fast. Shu Yuan, you've gotten so vulgar lately. No man will ever like you if you act like this. You should try being more gentle. Was she seriously trying to coach me right now? With what authority?
Get to the
point. She snapped back to attention and shoved the bundle into my arms. I heard from Ching that you're trying to pursue Commander Lu. But honestly, look at yourself. You're ugly and frumpy. He'll never be interested. So, I brought you some of my old clothes. They're used, but they're better than what you're wearing. I stared at the pile of rejected rags in my arms. This woman was using me as her personal donation bin, giving me her garbage and calling it a favor? I threw every piece of clothing directly into her face. Who wants your trash? And even in my worst outfit, I have more style in one fingernail than you have in your entire body. Take your garbage clothes and get out of my sight. What even are you? Slam.
Door closed.
Bai Wei stood outside sputtering.
Shu Yuan.
I was trying to be nice. You ungrateful. Someone as ugly as you deserves to be single forever. I didn't dignify that with a response. Instead, I locked the door, went to my room, opened my bag of clothes, and examined what I had.
Old. Ugly.
Shapeless. The original Shu Yuan's entire wardrobe was fashion terrorism. but I had scissors. And I had skills. I grabbed 2 black garments and started cutting, measuring,
Pinning. Sewing.
For the entire afternoon, I sat there reconstructing fabric into something entirely new. Lu Xiao finished his marriage paperwork and noticed I'd gone quiet. He wheeled himself to my door, peeked in, saw me sewing with my back turned, and silently retreated. Smart man. By late afternoon, I held up my creation, a black qipao dress. The fabric was basic, but the design was stunning. I'd crafted the silhouette from memory of 22nd century fashion. I slipped it on, did my hair in an elegant updo, and sauntered to Lu Xiao's room with my best runway walk. Lu Xiao, look at this dress I redesigned. Pretty? He put down his pen, turned around, and his gaze landed on me, specifically on the moment I lifted the hem of the qipao, revealing long, pale legs. His face went nuclear red. He spun away so fast his wheelchair nearly tipped over. PP pretty, he stammered at the wall. I walked closer, leaned down, placed my hand on his jaw, and gently tilted his chin up until he was looking directly at me. If I'm so pretty, why won't you look at me properly? His eyes flickered up and immediately caught a glimpse of the red undergarment peeking from beneath my qipao neckline. He slammed his eyes shut like they'd been burned. Lu Xiao had his eyes squeezed shut like he was facing a solar eclipse. So naturally, I sat down on his lap. Lu Xiao, you're so contradictory. One second you say I'm pretty, the next you slam your eyes shut. Pick a lane. He could feel the heat radiating off my body. He squirmed backward in his wheelchair. Shu Yuan, get away from me. See, men always say the opposite of what they mean. You say, get away, but you actually want me closer. Am I right? Before he could deny it, I kissed him. When I pulled back, I grinned. Close enough for you. His face went from red to crimson. His breathing got shaky. And something else was happening that he was desperately trying to suppress through sheer willpower. Shu Yuan, if you keep this up, I'm going to get angry.
Get
out. I could tell he was genuinely flustered this time, so I pouted and headed for the door. But I couldn't resist one last jab from the hallway. Lu Xiao, are you this upset because you're embarrassed? Shu Yuan. Okay, he was really mad. I retreated for real this time, and even closed the door behind me. Considerate girlfriend right here. After I left, Lu Xiao looked down at his own lap, and,
well,
let's just say he had a situation to deal with. Privately, I made dinner, keeping it simple tonight. Stir-fried vegetables and scrambled eggs. Nothing fancy.
Lu Xiao.
Food's ready. He came out, and we washed our hands together before sitting down. I sat next to him and kept piling vegetables into his bowl. No meat today, so we're going vegetarian tonight. Anything's fine. Such an easy man to feed. I stared at his gorgeous face for approximately 3 seconds before the impulse won. I scooted closer and planted a kiss on his cheek. Lu Xiao, you're so handsome that every time I see you, I physically cannot stop myself from kissing you. Shu Yuan. The door is open. What if someone sees? Oh, he didn't want people watching. I could fix that. Say no more. Hold on. I stood up, walked to the door, closed it and locked it. Then I turned around with a satisfied grin. There. Now we can kiss with 0 witnesses. Before he could protest, I launched myself into his arms and peppered his face with kisses. 1, 2, 3, 4, rapid fire. He sat there, completely shell-shocked. This woman fundamentally did not understand the concept of stop. When my kissing frenzy subsided, he looked at me and asked a question that had clearly been bothering him. Were you this? Forward with Zhou Cheng too? I shook my head so hard, I almost got dizzy. Never. You're the only person I've ever been like this with. But you kiss like you've had practice. If you never did this with Zhou Cheng, how are you so skilled? TV. I learned from television. Also, kissing wasn't exactly rocket science. You grab the person and press your lips on them. Where was this skill? I pulled back and looked him dead in the eye with maximum seriousness. Lu Xiao, I swear I was never like this with Zhou Cheng. I never kissed him. Never slept with him. Never even held his hand, romantically. I'm completely untouched. If you don't believe me, you can. Verify. His brain crashed. Verify. What? You know?
Check.
I can prove it right now if you want. That can wait. Let's eat. Okay. I kissed him 2 more times, then we ate dinner. His heart rate had just returned to normal from the previous incident, and I'd blown it right back up again. After dinner and baths, I grabbed my pillow and headed toward his room. He blocked the doorway. My eyes work now. I can handle things myself. You don't need to sleep here. He closed the door in my face. I shrugged.
Fee me.
We've got plenty of time. I wasn't in a rush. The man was already mine. It was just a matter of paperwork at this point. I went to my own room and slept like a baby. Lu Xiao, on the other hand, tossed and turned for hours. When he finally fell asleep, he had another one of those dreams.
About me.
Again. And once again, the sheets and pants needed emergency replacement in the morning. His self-control in dreams was absolutely, catastrophically zero. After breakfast, I left to buy meat. Lu Xiao immediately seized the opportunity to sneak into the bathroom and furiously scrub his evidence. That's when his military brother Jiangzhan walked in, fresh from a mission. He heard scrubbing sounds from the bathroom and went to investigate. Lu Xiao, why are you washing sheets by yourself? Where's your caretaker? Lu Xiao's expression screamed guilt. She went grocery shopping. She'll be back soon. Jiangzhan rolled up his sleeves. Your eyes don't even work. You probably can't wash them properly. Give them to me. Lu Xiao gripped the sheets like his life depended on it. I can do it myself. Since when are you this polite with me? Hand them over. They started TUGOF warring over the sheets. Lu Xiao, cornered, blurted out. My eyes can see again. Jiangzhan dropped the sheets. His jaw dropped with them.
What?
Your doctor said you'd be blind forever. How? Shu Yuan healed them. Over the next 5 minutes, Lu Xiao gave Jiangzhan the highlights. The divorce from Zhou Cheng, me becoming his caretaker, the medicine, the healing, and oh yeah, the fact that I was now his fiancé. Jiangzhan's reaction was a series of increasingly impressed clicking sounds. This Shu Yuan is something else. She cured your eyes, became your fiancé, and divorced that loser Zhou Cheng? How did I never notice she was this capable when she was just the quiet little wife upstairs? Lu Xiao hadn't noticed either. She was a completely different person now. Anyway, that's where things stand. My eyes are healed. Shu Yuan is going to work on my legs next. And I believe she can do it. After seeing what she'd done for Lu Xiao's eyes, Jiangzhan believed it too. But still, back at the house, Jiangzhan, Lu Xiao's military brother, was grilling him about me. Lu Xiao, are you marrying Shu Yuan because you actually like her, or because she fixed your eyes and you feel obligated? Honestly, Lu Xiao had known me for a while, but we'd only really been together for a few days. He couldn't claim deep, passionate love yet. But he wasn't marrying me out of gratitude either. He was marrying me because we'd been physically intimate, all those accidental kisses, and as a man of honor, he felt responsible. But he couldn't tell Jiangzhan that without wrecking my reputation. So he deflected. Since when are you this nosy? Jiangzhan scooted his stool closer. Nosy? I'm concerned. You're almost 30 and finally showing interest in a woman. I need to make sure you're picking the right one. I'm 29. 30 is a year away. Same difference. Lu Xiao fired back. You want to lecture me? You're 28, almost 29, and also single. What's your plan? Retire from the military and become a monk? Jiangzhan winced. Fair point. But he wasn't done. Look, I just want the best for you. She's divorced. Her reputation isn't great. She's not exactly a beauty queen. She used to be a beggar. If you marry her, people will laugh at you, your subordinates, the wives in the compound, everyone. And do you really think your parents will accept a second marriage woman? Lu Xiao didn't even flinch. My parents' opinion doesn't matter. Only mine does. And being divorced wasn't Shu Yuan's fault. Zhou Cheng was the problem. I've already committed to marrying her, and I don't go back on my word. Besides, in my current condition, being able to find a wife at all is already a win, isn't it? Jiangzhan sighed. He'd have preferred Lu Xiao marry someone with a powerful family background who could help his career. But if his brother's mind was made up, as long as you've thought it through, I'll support you. They dropped the subject and started talking about Jiang Zhan's latest mission. Boys being boys. Meanwhile, I was having a very productive morning in town. First stop, the bank. I deposited my earnings from the birthday party, over 10,000 yuan. My account balance had never looked so beautiful. Second stop, the hospital entrance, where I sold my remaining pills in record time. I was about to head to the market when someone tapped my shoulder. Miss Shu, our director would like to see you. The hospital director? Interesting. I followed the man to the director's office. The moment I walked in, he practically rolled out a red carpet. Miss Shu, you must be exhausted selling medicine outside all day.
Please sit.
Let me get you some water. This level of hospitality from a man whose patients I'd been stealing was deeply suspicious. I sat on the couch. Skip the water. Just tell me what you want. He dropped the act. Miss Shu, your medicine business outside my hospital has cost me a significant number of patients. This makes me very unhappy. So this was what it was about. He wanted to pick a fight. I almost laughed. If your patients are gone, it means they're cured. They don't need your hospital anymore. Shouldn't you, as a doctor, be happy when people get better? His eye twitched. They weren't cured by his hospital. If all his patients went to me, how was he supposed to keep the lights on? Miss Shu, this is a hospital. Without patients, I can't stay in business. And? What's your point? I want to buy your formula. Name your price. Ah, there it was. If he had my recipe, he could mass-produce the pills, become the biggest hospital in the capital, and rake in money forever.
I smiled politely.
My formula isn't for sale. I stood up to leave. If that's everything, I'll be going. His face darkened. Miss Shu, think about this carefully. Selling me the formula benefits you too. Benefits me how? Sure, I'd get a one-time lump sum. But my pill business was a cash machine. Keeping the formula meant unlimited long-term income. Selling it meant one paycheck, and then watching someone else get rich off my work. Think long-term, old man. My answer is still no. I walked out. Behind me, I heard the sound of him sweeping his desk clean in a rage. Files, papers, everything crashing to the floor. Ungrateful little brat. She thinks she can destroy my hospital? If she won't sell willingly, then I don't need to be nice about it. Great. I'd made an enemy. A petty, powerful, hospital-owning enemy. What could possibly go wrong? At the market, I picked up 3 pounds of gorgeous pork belly, then spotted a fabric shop. Perfect. I selected 4 bolts of cloth. Blue, white, black, and a floral print. The original Shu Yuan's wardrobe was a disaster zone. I needed to make myself proper outfits, and a couple of shirts for Lu Xiao too. My man wasn't going to walk around looking plain. Not on my watch. When I got back to the compound carrying an armload of fabric, the wives descended like vultures.
Shu Yuan.
What's all that fabric for? Making clothes. They eyed the mostly masculine colors and jumped to the worst possible conclusion. Those aren't for Zhou Cheng, are they? I stared at them. Ladies, I am divorced. Why on earth would I make clothes for that man? Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go cook lunch for Commander Lu. I walked away. Behind me, the gossip machine cranked up immediately. She's definitely making clothes for Zhou Cheng. She won't admit it because she's shy. Shy? About Zhou Cheng? These women had the deductive reasoning skills of a potato. I was making clothes for my future husband. Thank you very much. The one downstairs. The handsome one. The one who deserved nice things. But did anyone consider that possibility? Of course not.